going to be my first challenge with Bilbo Thief of the Night, and it's also going to be my first top 8 with it. Okay, welcome back, Vintage Gamers, to a Saturday afternoon challenge. We are back on our regular scheduled programming with the restriction of the Fantastic Car. Vintage has been saved, and we are trying out new and exciting things, trying to figure out what to play for Eternal Weekend. This is going to be our third video of Bilbo Thief in the Night. This is the most powerful card from the Hobbit set. Might be the only playable card from the Hobbit set for Vintage. It is making waves in Modern and Legacy as well, especially Legacy. This is a 1 and a blue, legendary halfling rogue. Spells you cast from anywhere other than your hand cost 1 less. And when you attack, you may cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery from your graveyard. Instants and sorceries get exiled. So, obviously, artifacts don't get exiled. I think everything costs 1 less that gets cast off of Bilbo. From our videos we've done previously, we started with a Questing Druid, 5-color shell. Then we played some Ragavan and cards from Exile. And I think this is going to be the first serious test of Bilbo, because I feel the best use of Bilbo is casting powerful spells. And while we obviously have Ancestral, Time Walk, Demonic, what is the next most powerful spell? I think it's Stock Up. Stock Up, and to some extent Lorien Revealed, are the most powerful blue draw spells, and Stock Up for 1 and a blue, which you're casting off of Bilbo, is extremely good. So this is going to be our first Bilbo Stock Up deck. Now, Bilbo already has a Vintage Challenge finals split in the hands of Kevin playing just like a fair Lurrus Frog deck. But I think that, I think Bilbo is totally fine in that deck, but I feel like casting even more powerful spells might be a better home. So this is a Turbo Volt Key deck. This is not a new style of deck. This is a style of deck that was very big during Force Saga era, Oswald Turbo Volt Key, and then kind of fell off after the restriction of Saga. I actually played a PO Turbo Volt Key deck in Eternal Weekend in 2024. I had 2 decent successes. And this is kind of the continuation of that. So what we're doing here is we're playing Stock Up and Lorien, not the full FLS shell. I'm going to choose to not play Flow State. It was a little hard to fit Flow State, but I think you actually could play Flow State if you trimmed a little bit on some of the other blue cards. The only issue with Flow State is you have so many artifacts and so many creatures that it's hard to make sure that the Flow State is turned on. So instead, we're just going to play some more powerful spells. So we have Bilbo as our core, as our center here, as a turn 1 play with really powerful options. But then we're, playing a super great long game with Stock Ups and Lorien Revealeds. We have a high interaction suite with the 6 forces. And then we have a toolbox of artifacts for our Oswald Fiddlebender. Oswald is a 2/2, tap a white and it to sacrifice for an artifact with mana value 1 higher than the sacrificed cost. A little bit of a birthing pod style card. One of the cooler things in this list that may have not been in previous Oswald lists is we do have a Surveillance Cam. I've gone to great lengths to make our mana base very white heavy. What Surveillance Cam in this deck enables is if you have an Oswald with 2 Moxen in play and 3 white mana available, you can do the entire Oswald combo into Time Vault Key, and it won't take 2 turns. So you turn a Mox into a Sewer Cam, it untaps Fiddlebender. You turn a Sewer Cam into a Time Vault, it untaps Fiddlebender, and you turn the other Mox into a Key, and then you take infinite turns. So it takes a whole turn off the ability for Oswald to go infinite. That's a really big upside that didn't exist in previous versions. Now, it's not an easy to achieve combo because you need a substantial amount of white mana, and you need to have Moxen, but it has come up a large amount in testing where this can win you the game by cutting 1 turn off the clock. One of the nicer things we have here is we have 1 Needle and 1 Lantern because they go into our Oswald package, and that will give us extra support against Dredge. Obviously, 2 big hits for Dredge because this deck needs to either Vault Key or have this kind of hate for Dredge to win. But it also gives us a needle in the main against the One Ring decks. Over time and while playing Raker Shops, I have been increasingly impressed with the One Ring in Vintage to a kind of concerning amount. I didn't really understand why, like, the Japanese player base has been very high on restricting the ring for a very long time, and I didn't really understand why, because it wasn't, a significant play rate in Magic Online or in North America, and the decks that I play in general typically don't care about the One Ring that much. But as I played more and more with the One Ring itself, I can say it's quite good in Vintage, and as Raker Shops and Jewel take up a high percentage of the metagame, having access to Needle for Ring is really important. I do have a piece of interaction with Flusterstorm, and I think Chain is just your nice catch-all answer. Portable Hole is one of the best reasons to play white, and is really good with Oswald. I'd like to fit even more to Portable Holes in the 75 if I can, but right now we have one in the main, one in the board. Having access in your deck with tutors to a removal spell that you can flashback with Bilbo is very important, so I'm going to play the 1 Swords. I do like Merchant Scroll, even though it's not at its best in this deck, because of Bilbo. Being able to turn a Merchant Scroll into a Force plus blue card is really powerful. Obviously, getting Ancestral is quite good. But I've also included a cheeky Gifts Ungiven, which in testing has proved to be quite good in this deck. Basically, every time I've cast Gifts Ungiven, I have won. Your piles typically include things like Yogwill, Time Vault, Key, Ancestral, or Time Walk. And with Bilbo in play, you basically are kind of like having your own Lurrus or Underworld Breach style card, meaning you are really always going to be able to do something extremely broken. It's not like the best gift stack. You don't have, Mana Drain to accelerate into, but having the ability to have a game-ending spell that you can tutor for off of your Merchant Scroll that's not Ancestral is quite good. So I have been pretty happy about the 1 gifts in this slot. And obviously, Yogwill is just an extremely powerful card. Also, if you are casting things with Yogwill and have a Bilbo in play, all your spells cost 1 less from your yard. So they got that going for us. I also have a Karakas in this deck. Our deck is all legends, so opposing Karakases are actually kind of a problem, and it's nice to be able to save our creatures from removal. And sideboard, like I said, we have a Vampiric Tutor, because I like Vampiric Tutor. But I don't like it against Frog, and if Frog is going to be a substantial part of the metagame, I don't want it in the main. But if Frog is not a substantial part of the metagame, you probably want the Vampiric Tutor in the main. But it does kind of double as multiple pieces of interaction for like the linear deck, so like having extra Containment Priests and stuff like that. We do have the 1 Plains for the Wasteland decks. It's worth noting that Vampiric Tutor is actually quite good with Bilbo. If you have like an end step Vampiric Tutor, you can win the game with Vamp for Demonic Tutor for Time Walk, and then Bilbo like flashing back Time Walk and eventually Demonic Tutor. It results in a Vault Key, so that's like a big thing as well. So I have an additional Flusterstorm for like Doomsday. I have a Consign for the Shops decks, the full 4 Swords because Mono White Initiative is still on the rampage. Portable Hole is our best answer to Null Rod. I have my own Null Rod for when I play against Raker and Jewel. 1 Hurkyl's Recall because I do have the Merchant Scroll in my deck for Sphere Shops, and an additional Mindbreak Trap. Does that cover everything? For the most part, yeah. It's worth noting that we built this on Wednesday night after the normal brewing stream, and there are a lot of ways you can build like the last 4 slots, especially the blue cards. You don't have to play gifts here. You can play PO, you can play Flow State, you can play Brainstorm. And you can swap around some other slots. At one point, we had 4 flow states. At one point, we had 2 flow states. At one point, we had none. Sometimes you have a Brainstorm. Sometimes you have a PO. You kind of just want, like, the Merchant Scroll gives you this, like, really nice flexibility. So you do want to have, like, 1 non-ancestral powerful target to get off the Merchant Scroll. And so we're choosing to play Gifts here, but this Gifts is not mandatory by any means. You want to play PO, by all means. You want to play Dig Through Time. That's totally reasonable as well. I've been able to flash a lot of Lorien Revealeds and even Dig Through Times off of Bilbo's attack, so very achievable. And no balances in this list because you have a extreme amount of creatures in your deck, 6 creatures. I also just don't think balance is that good of a card. I don't think it is like super strong in a lot of matchups. I don't think a balance is an unplayable thing, but I am more interested to play balance when I have no creatures in my deck or a very low amount of creatures in my deck. Because balance is best use case, like when it's not a turbo incredible balance where you're playing all your Mox in on turn 1 and mind twisting your opponent's hand. Like, the other good use case of balance is to wipe your opponent's board. So if you have all these creatures and if you have creatures in play, you can't wipe your opponent's board. And if you can't play your creatures, then they sit in your hand and they make your balance worse, right? So yeah, that's what we're doing with here. This is a first real attempt at a stock up Bilbo deck. We'll see how it goes, and then, you know, hopefully we'll learn a lot and continue to build powerful and interesting piles moving into our new and exciting card restricted vintage format. I will see you in round 1. Did you know subscribing here on YouTube and following on Twitch are both free ways you can support my vintage content? Okay, so round 1 of this vintage challenge, we're up against Lord Beerus, the very famous Dredge player. The good news here is I actually have a Soul Guide Lantern and a Needle in the main, along with powerful Volt Key options. While Bilbo isn't the most powerful card in this matchup, we have some good choices. So let's see what we can do here up against Dredge. Dredge is a little bit revitalized with Raker being nerfed. However, so the first challenge back, Dredge had an extremely good win rate, something like 60%. The second challenge back, Raker was the most played deck, and Dredge had like a 20% win rate. So we'll have to see how that fares as we continue into the new format. This hand plays a turn 1 Lurrus and has a Saga. So I think that's enough. I think I'm willing to keep it. Bilbo's been all right. All right, so a powder on 7, a mole on 6, a mole on 5, and then a pause. So I'm assuming a 5-card keep here from Beerus. So I think for me, my sequencing is going to look like Saga first, Soul Ring Lotus, plays around Trap in the most meaningful way. But though obviously if we get our Lurrus trapped, we can't really do much about it. So I guess playing around Trap in the most meaningful way doesn't really matter. But we want to get Saga going as quickly as possible. We don't want a random Vigor to take out our ability to play Lurrus. So one concern here is, I guess, a Mental Misstep. So I can't really bait a Mental Misstep, though. So we're just going to go for it. I guess in that case, what we could do is we could play a Manifold Key for free. But I don't know that that's necessary, and I almost want to hold on to it. I guess we'll see if anything changes along the way here. All right, I'm going to buy Lurrus, and I'm going to try casting Lurrus. My opponent would need to have Mindbreak Trap or Force of Will. Okay. And we have a Black Lotus. All right, so we're passing the turn with a Must Destroy Saga and a Lurrus versus Dredge. I would assume this is a very convincing start, but we'll see. If the Saga doesn't get destroyed, we're making 2 extremely large constructs and then finding a Needle or Lantern, probably a Lantern because it can be looped with Lurrus. Is that fast enough? That's a question. We'll see. And we're pretty grief-proof here. If they grief our key, we just buy back key, so... The opponent does have an Icarid, and they have the best Dredger, and they have a Chalice on 0, but they did lose the die roll. There's a hollow one, so no free attacks with Lurrus. There's 2 hollow ones. But this means we're not getting Vigored, which means we have Constructs, which means we are probably in a great spot. What I will do here is fetch a Meticulous Archive to see if we can mill over a card that is castable off of Lurrus. Stock up. That's not castable off Lurrus, but it's a card I'm definitely keeping. And then I will play a key. Could always make a Lurrus unblockable as well, but just going to do this and untap so we can keep... I guess we could have made Lurrus unblockable using the Lotus and replaying the Lotus. So maybe I should have done that. That was actually probably correct. I forgot that I had an ability to play a card from the yard this turn. So maybe we lost a 6-point life swing there. Ah, so that's a pretty good play. So because I went for the fetch land play, my opponent can use their last card and Noxious Revival my fetch, so we won't be drawing our stock up. But again, I don't think that matters. Oh, you're right. We can't bring back that because of Chalice. That's true. So as long as we don't get bullied too hard here on this turn, I think we are good. Because we're going to make 2 extremely large creatures, and then we're going to loop Soul Guide Lantern for the rest of the game. Yeah, sorry. We are on the first game of the day, and we're going to liven up as we go, right? Okay, so that was a good hit from them, because that is a Narcomoeba bringing back 2 Amalgams. Some of them were already coming back. But I still think that this is beating Dredge here. Opponent is basically hoping that we don't have a way to clear the yard in our main. But we do. So we're redrawing our Flooded Strand. We are fetching our Soul Guide Lantern. And then I'm going to wipe my opponent's yard and recast my Soul Guide Lantern. And I'll exile my Saga. That's fine. And yep. I could make one unblockable, but I don't want to randomly die. And I don't think trading 1 for 1 is good. So it's just a question of, does my board state beat this board state? So if I block here and I block here, I take 13. I can then gain 3 back. Oof, it's actually pretty damn close. I wonder if... I should have made this unblockable and attacked with this, is what I should have done this turn. I actually messed up pretty badly there. That 6-point life swing could have been good. I guess it's more of just a 3-point life. I was thinking I might have to block, but I didn't even look, so it's pretty much my fault. I'm playing this game really poorly so far. Yeah, actually, that might be a game-losing play. We might need to draw. Well, we do. Oh, we searched. God damn, we searched, so we lost the stock up. And this can't block like anything. I don't have a good feeling about this. Block, block, 13-3. This missed attack, I would be at 6 instead. I think this missed attack might be game losing, actually. Why didn't I attack with the Lurrus? Because I thought I might block with the Lurrus. I don't know. Terrible play, though. Oh, no attack in? Did I do the math wrong? Block, block. Attack back. Block, block. I feel like it's bad for me. Maybe I did the math wrong. I trust Lord Beerus to be playing to his outs. He's one of the best Dredge players at doing that. That's a great draw, though. All right, so let's just start with... I have no more good land. I think I just start with Soul Ring and Lorien Revealed. Sorry, use the Lorien Revealed off of the Academy is what I'm trying to say. If this was countered, what's our line? Draw with Lantern, maybe. Make Lurrus unblockable. Replay Lantern. This resolved. So we have a Fiddle Bender, which will win us the game on the next turn. Okay. Do I want to draw with Lantern still? That runs me the risk of like getting mental misstepped, right? I think I like play Oswald, make Lurrus unblockable, go. Do I have enough to force if something bad happened? No. If I make something unblockable, I can't force. Is that enough of a reason to not make Lurrus unblockable? When we know we're winning the game with a Fiddlebender on the next turn? I don't think so. So my evaluation is I'm playing to Fiddlebender here, and what I'm gonna do is, oh no, I have exactly enough. This is 5. Okay, so then I can. I'm gonna make Lurrus unblockable, hold open force, and I'm not gonna replay my Lantern. Oh, that's the reason. It's because I was looking at replaying the Lantern. So I'm just not going to replay the Lantern. That way I don't run into mental misstep. I'm holding open Lantern, and then as long as I can get a Lantern into play next, have a Lantern in play next turn to Fiddlebender, we have Volt Key. Icarid, Shell. Do I want to hit? Maybe I should have already done it. No, I kind of want to keep the Lantern in play if possible. Does a 3 power change anything here? Block. Yeah. It doesn't change anything here. Because I'm blocking here. I'm taking 13. I'm taking 15. And then I have Lantern for chills. And I will always be able to close it, I think. That was like closer than it probably should have been. But my opponent put a lot of power in play. I'd have to go back and look. I think the game was probably sloppy. I think the missed, at least one missed unblockable attack could have been a difference. But opponent just didn't attack. If opponent had attacked, would they have won? An interesting question. I think games like that, where you're not allowed to do your Dredge engine, but you do enough to play a game of Magic, are the games that separate good Dredge players from great Dredge players. I was talking with Arjun the other day. And Arjun was kind of lamenting about watching a Dredge player play a challenge and how the gameplay is like a little formulaic and it kind of takes out some of the nuance of Magic. And I was explaining that I do think the game ones, for the most part, against like decks that are not prepared, are formulaic for Dredge. But once you start introducing variables and changing what's going on in the game, that's when you are really allowed to express yourself as a Dredge player. And Lurrus, like I said, is one of the best players at doing that. And games like this one here are places where you can, good attacking and blocking fundamentals, that kind of thing. All right, so I'm bringing in Tormod's Crypt, Pithing Needle, Containment Priest, Vampiric Tutor, which is an additional copy of all of these cards, as well as a Flusterstorm to try to make sure things don't go too badly. I'm possibly bringing in some amount of Swords. I typically don't like basics in this matchup. I'm not huge on Portable Hole. I don't think Negation hits anything. Some of these larger spells are usually not worth casting. Bilbo's a little bit slow. And then I will keep the chain in because the chain gives you at least an out to Chalice of the Void while still being blue. We'll go with 2 swords. Try that. I don't have colors flickering for me, Craven, so that might be on your end, unless someone else in chat is experiencing that. So I got a cat. I've got a Containment Priest and a bajillion mana. 2 white sources as well. No, I would take out Misstep as well. I probably just missed it. I was kind of rushing for time there. I was too busy waxing poetic about Dredge and my opponent. My opponent, unfortunately, has molded 2 in this game. So I don't believe they'll be able to beat a Containment Priest. We'll see what happens. A hollow one we have covered as well, so It's going to be extremely tough for my opponent to play the game here. That is one of the things that occurs when you play Dredge. But it feels bad because I do like playing against Lord Beerus. I feel like Lord Beerus makes me work for it. One card in my opponent's hand. I even drew a white source. Yeah, if my opponent challenges me, my opponent challenges me. I think I'm willing to take that risk. So what I'm going to do here is just play Sapphire and pass. I don't want to play into a random... I mean, if they activate, then I don't play into my trap anyways, but I think it's just let my opponent active... Oh, they just didn't activate. Okay, well, I'm going to do it on their upkeep then before they draw a second card. I was surprised. I kind of thought they would activate. Maybe they're... Lord Beerus, I've been spending all this time talking you up. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe they're playing... They had a card or something. I don't know. This lets them play to drawing... Okay, now they're activating. They're going to look for a hollow one, maybe? Second Bazaar, hollow one. Okay. That's probably why, then. My opponent's 2-card hand was probably Bazaar, hollow one. And so he wanted to wait till the next turn so he could make sure he got a hollow one in play. But from now on, I'm just going to Swords this, and my opponent might just concede. We'll see. Yeah, I don't think they're ever beating that. Yeah, they probably are not here for very long after this. So we have a Flusterstorm to cover our Needle, and we can never lose to our Mana Crypt because we have a Lurrus coming. So kind of an uneventful game 2, marred by mulling to 2, obviously. But I do think that game 1 was fairly interesting, and I do believe I played kind of poorly. So things to think about. It'll give us time to re-record the intro that I was muted for. All right. Vanquished. Okay, here we go. Round 2 up against a Raker Shops gamer on the draw. I have a cat, I have a force, and a Sapphire and a Lorien. I'm in. I am in. I think I have all my settings fixed now, so that's good. Okay, I think we're good. So, this hand's not amazing, but I think you have to keep any hand with force against Raker in general. Raker is still extremely strong post car restriction. One of the best decks. But it does look like it has kind of been nerfed back to some normalcy. Yesterday, Raker was the most played deck in the challenge, like 10 pilots or something like that. And it had a bunch of top 8s, but it also had, oh, that's interesting. It also had a 50% win rate overall. So my opponent is on Dredge again. So this is our round 2 second Dredge opponent. They powdered and then kept 7. If I had an actual land in my hand, I might keep this. But without a land, I think that this is just a mulligan against known Dredge. So we're on the draw here, so we do know about our opponent's Serum Powder. So we have that knowledge with our mulliganing situation here. And we have a Needle and we have a Lantern in our deck. I'm going to mulligan. That's an interesting one. I think this is within range. It's not amazing, but let's see what opponent does with this grief. Maybe they take Bilbo. Maybe they take the fast mana. feel like if I were them, I mean, I don't know the contents of their Dredge hand, but I would probably take Pearl. Kind of cuts off 2 spells, 3 spells instead of 1. Took the swords. That means they definitely have a hollow one. Up to 6, down to 3. Golgari Grave Troll in the yard. Hollow one into play. Okay. Fiddlebender. We don't have white here, so we have no opportunities to go 1 combo, but maybe it'll be fast enough. Let's take a peek if opponent has a counter spell or not. Opponent has force. I suppose they're going to force my Bilbo, right? Is it better if they force my Bilbo or my Time Walk? I guess they might not force my Time Walk, but my Time Walk does get better if I get a creature in play. The problem is I don't have enough mana to play a creature and Time Walk. And I don't know what this clock looks like between a hollow one and a Grave Troll in the yard. I think Fiddle's a must force. I don't think Time Walk or Bilbo are must forces. I'm trying to figure out. I'm going to Time Walk. I think they're going to counter it. I think they're going to counter any spell I cast here so that they can just freely dredge. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's worse for me then. I don't know how much it mattered. I guess if I hit the land drops, I'd rather have the Time Walk than the Bilbo. So it's probably worse. I probably should just play the Bilbo. Unfortunately, I'm not actually sure if any of that matters because my opponent has a Golgari Grave Troll and is dredging. Okay, nothing's coming back this turn. That buys me some time. So I kind of have regrets on my choice of Time Walk already. Oh, wait, no, they hit a Creeping Chill, so the Ghoul comes back, so I'm just dead on this next attack then. 4, 6, 9, 12, Icarus. Okay, I'm dead. All right, so nothing I did mattered. I maybe could have mulliganed one more time. All right. So I'm gonna do the same thing as last time. I'm gonna bring in Vamp, Needle, Containment Priest, Swords, Flusterstorm. Taking out Island, Misstep, Negation, Gifts, Portable Hole, and that was it, right? I think that was it. Okay, try again. We were on the draw against Dredge in a game 1. We did know it was Dredge, so we had some ability to mulligan, but it's still tough. We don't have that many great hands. So my opponent had what? 7-card Dredge Keep with a hollow one, a Grief, and a Force. Sounds about right. It's going to be tough to beat that kind of draw no matter what we're playing. Yeah. This looks fine. All right. Now we're obviously looking for more Hate Piece-oriented hands. That's a Containment Priest. No Force backup, sadly. Definitely a keep, though. Would love to have force back up here. I feel really good about this. Pretty sure I'm just casting a Containment Priest on their upkeep, giving me the highest chance of it resolving. Obviously, I have other options. Like, I could play an Oswald, threatening Volt Key off of a mana. I could... I guess that's my only other option. But... the things they need to kill a Containment Priest are quite low, or the things that are required for Containment Priest, that like the number of answers they have is kind of low. So I'm definitely willing to do that. I think opponent disconnected there for a second, or maybe they're playing a couple different matches at the same time. Fortunately, can't do much about that. What's my blue count after post board? Pre-board, it's quite good, right? 9, 13, 15, 19, 21, 25. And I took out 22, 21, but added 1. So it's still 22. Still pretty good. All right, opponent is on the mulligan to 6, on the mulligan to 5, on the mulligan to 4. All right, mulligan to 4 from the opponent. I probably should have played the Sapphire first, so it doesn't look like they can get an advantage by countering. Play Containment Priest on their upkeep, so they draw less cards, have less chances to answer this. All right, we have a Resolver. This will give them more information on how to use their Bazaar, but I think it resolving is more important than that. It also leans them into hollow ones, which I'm not particularly worried about. 2 Dredgers and a Ghoul. And a blue card for Force. No blue card for Force. But we do have a DT and a Lotus. So if we think my opponent had... okay. That's an interesting time to concede. So if I were to play this turnout, what would I do? I have 5 mana, so I can't actually Volt Key my opponent. I could DT for Ancestral. I think I would DT for Vexing Bauble. I think I would go Black Lotus, DT, Vexing Bauble, play Oswald. I think that's what I would do. All right, now we need to win on the draw in our game 3 versus Dredge. Should be challenging. See what we can do. Have a cat. Yeah, that is in the range. All right, 2 7-card keeps. Be very interesting to figure out how we play our turn. All right, opponent has no grief, no chalice, 5 cards in hand. I didn't want to see a swords there. I definitely did not want to see a swords there. I think what we do is lead on Tormod's Crypt. And then we play Lotus, Bilbo, and Oswald. And we don't get a land so that we can keep force up. And then hopefully Bilbo and Oswald can combine to keep our opponent in check. That's my plan. Maybe I should play... It's really tough because of Mindbreak Trap. But I can't really do much about it. I don't think I can play slower. I mean, maybe I could go Pearl, Lorien. I just don't feel like I can go slower. All right. I don't know that I have to force back here. So what would it, why, what would be the upside, the downside of not forcing back here? If I don't force back here and my opponent dredges something into play that blocks Bilbo, I won't be able to return the Tormod's Crypt. But I have a swords. But also just like resolving this means like nothing can really go that badly besides Mindbreak Trap, right? But Mindbreak Trap is the big reason that you would want to let this go so that I can go Lotus, Bilbo, Oswald, have force up, untapping with swords plus the ability to return Tormod's Crypt. My opponent has 7 dredge in the yard at the moment. How badly can that go for me? I mean, it can go pretty badly. I just think that if I let this go, I can't like get super punished as hard. Like it's really hard for me to get super punished if I let this go. Whereas if I force this and then they trap my Lotus, I can't really play the game, right? Where this Tormod's Crypt doesn't need to resolve. If this was a negation, I would force, right? Because we needed to be able to return the Tormod's Crypt. But with no negation, I'm going to let this go is my gut instinct here. Okay, so I have Bilbo, Oswald, Pearl. I have Force, and I have Tormod's Crypt, Lotus in the yard for Bilbo. So as long as I can get back to my turn without like too much bad things happening, I feel like we're in a... We also like have to kind of beat Noxious a little bit, don't we? No, I guess we don't have to beat Noxious. I guess Noxious is pretty good against the attack. Ah, Sickening Shoal, pitching that, killing Bilbo. Okay, I mean, this is what I get my force for, so... You know, Mindbreak Trap. Now Noxious on force is still fine for us. This looks fine for us, as long as this dredge doesn't go too badly. There's an Icarid, but nothing coming back. Nothing. Okay, that went really well. And then another dredge 4. I think this is just winning from here for us so far. Yep, that's good. Okay. So we're clear on Tormod's Crypt here. And I guess we don't really have an Oswald target, right? I could, if I had a Mana Vault, I could Pearl into Mana Vault, return Lotus, Lotus Lurrus, but that won't do it. But I could maybe get the other piece of hate, which is Needle. So I could wipe their yard and Needle them. What did they return there? They milled 1, 2, 3, 4. So they made a mistake. They should have dredged 3 and brought back Shambling Shell so that they could get to Vigor. I guess Vigor is like not really going to help them, right? So, okay. I think we're just good here. We're just going to kill them with Grizzly Bears. I'm going to return Tormod's Crypt. I'm actually just going to crack it right now so they can't dredge back a Shambling Shell. And then I am going to Oswald into a Needle on Bazaar of Baghdad. Wow. This is an impressive game from Bilbo. Yeah. Really, really impressive. Okay, round 3, 2-0 so far against our Dredge opponents. We're up against a likely Shops gamer here. I have a cat. Yeah, I have pretty broken one. I could just play every single card on turn 1 here. We don't even have to dodge Null Rod because we have Portable Hole Oswald. So we can beat Null Rod as well. Not right away, though. But we actually can't win right away because we don't have a 1-drop anyways. Though actually returning Lotus would give us the infinite, sorry, not the infinite, but the Sewer Cam instant kill. So if opponent is on Shops, our plan here is Mana Crypt Lotus, Emerald by Lurrus, Lurrus off Lotus, replay Lotus, Oswald Key, Archive, pass, say good luck. Or say good luck to us. Like if they're playing Jewel, they can just kill us. This is the kind of hand that you show someone and they're like, oh man, Vintage is really broken. This is really good. But it's actually like not the best kind of hand. It's really good, obviously. I don't think there's anything I could hit that would change my play, right? I guess technically if I hit, mill a Time Vault, right? So if I mill a Time Vault and I go Mana Crypt, Emerald, Lotus, Yogwill, Lotus, Time Vault, it wins. So I guess we are supposed to Meticulous Archive first, even though it's giving my opponent more information if they are on the Force of Will deck. Because we can win on turn 1 with a Time Vault. So yeah, Archive first. There's definitely some upside there. I think that's the only card. Trying to think of like another card that you would play instead of playing Lurrus everything. I guess technically we could like replay stuff off of our Lotus instead of playing our Oswald. Yeah, I think you're right though. I'm keeping that, right? I guess I'm not. Because what does that really do for us? That we can't do with Oswald. And we don't want them to like... Trying to think of like a sequence that this card is good to keep. I don't think... Yeah, I don't think there's a sequence where this is a good card to keep. I might have wanted a sequence around traps somehow. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is a crazy good hand. There are definitely hands that punish this. We'll see what opponent has for us. I guess the Yogg-Will can enable us to win in one turn, right? So what we can do with the Yogg-Will is buy back our Lotus. Oh, actually, the Lurrus can enable us to win in one turn. Wow. Okay, because we have the Lurrus and the Yogg-Will, we actually can just sacrifice the key to get Time Vault and replay the key. That's pretty sick. That is pretty sweet. If we didn't, though, we do have white, 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 and 2 zeros, so we could go up the chain with sewer cam as well. Basically a turn 1 win here for the Oswald Gaming. I like this card. I'm a pretty big fan of Oswald. All right, so opponent decided not to show us what they're working with, which is fair. I'm going to go ahead and assume they're on shops based on previous data. We're going to bring in our basic planes. We're going to bring in our needle. We're going to bring in our swords and our portable hole. Our Mindbreak Trap, Hercule's Recall, Consign. I don't know if I want to bring in Vamp here. And I don't even know if I want to bring in all these swords either. I'm just going to put them to the side. We don't need this Lantern. We don't need this Misstep, this Probe, this Flusterstorm, this Vexing Bauble. Usually not super big on 4 mana spells here. So I think I like this, and I might try 2 swords to start. And that would have us cutting... the Yogg-Will, probably. It's like the next clunkiest card. Try that. This also means we're not like tight on black mana using Yogg-Will and Vamp early. Pretty reasonable. If we decide that they have like more aggressive creatures than we would have expected, we can bring in more swords. We're running pretty well today so far. We've had some very powerful openers. I do think the deck construction has led us to the first 2 rounds. That one was just a high roll opener. This is another very high roll opener. We've had a lot of Lotus openers. I'm definitely keeping here. Uh-oh. Opponent is mulliganing a 6. I don't really think so. I really like any amount of mana I can to try to equalize the deficit from not playing Workshop. Obviously, there is the counter argument of null rods from the opponent. It just really depends on like what the swords targets are as well. It's hard to know. Our opponent obviously conceded before they showed us anything. You can build a Workshop deck in a variety of ways with a variety of threats. So like if they have Patchwork Automatons, then there's some those are kind of good and kind of bad against swords. If they're on like Raker Shops and say they only have Clearing Fleshraker, that's a really important one to kill, but it's also like one of the only targets. It's really tough to know exactly how many swords you want against a possible Shops opponent. And of course, they might just not even be on Shops. So this is my opponent on Raker Shops casting Tezzeret off of Black Lotus. We have to counter this, because if we don't counter this, they're just going to get a Vexing Bauble and Vexing Bauble us. If we had a white land, then we could maybe let it happen because we have Portable Hole. But I think I am interested in just forcing this. If I'm interested in forcing this, I have to choose between pitching Scroll and pitching Stock Up. Which of those cards is better for me? I think just casting Stock Up is better than scrolling for Ancestral. We have a lot of toolbox-oriented cards that we don't really want to draw. I'm going to go with Force Tezzeret pitching Scroll. even if my opponent went like Workshop Sphere here, maybe Workshop Sphere makes you want to do the other one more. 3 cards left in my opponent's hand. Workshop, they have a ring. Okay, this at least lets us stock up into a needle. We have 2 needles. So I think the cards we brought in are slightly off. Oh, they also have a chalice on 0. Okay, probably just lost unless we draw a needle. Okay. So, I mean, that's just a great hand from the opponent, right? Workshop, Jet, Lotus, Tezzeret, Ring. Yeah, I mean, it's just a really great hand. We also boarded slightly wrong. We boarded for like a Sphere Shops, but they're on Raker, so we will change some things up post board as well. Yeah, my opponent's deck is an all-in deck with like very little interaction, besides like the Tezzeret stuff. So it's pretty much built to do turn 1s, and it's built to lose to turn 1s. That is part of the reason why Carr was so egregious. Was it was an extremely overpowered deck that also incentivized everyone to try to win on turn 1. Still a pretty good deck post Carr restriction, obviously, but seems win rate wise so far to be much closer to in line. So here I have an Elrod that I can tutor for. I'd like to take in the Vamp to try to win as fast as possible. I have options on swords to kill Raker, especially assuming they might have additional creatures post Carr. Mental Misstep actually gets good instead of bad against Sphere Shops because they are playing top combos. And then our basics get worse because they are not attacking our mana base. So basically a very different kind of deck than Sphere Shops, right? I don't actually know if Portable Hole is very good here. Doesn't seem like it would be. I think Hercules is still worth having. I think all the counter magic is still worth having. I'm not convinced I need all of the swords. Well, the ring, it has counterplay, right? The ring can be null rotted, the ring can be needled, the ring can be hull breached. You can play your own powerful spells. The ring does not say ETB win the game. It is certainly hard for some decks to win the game through a ring. And a ring is certainly better on turn 1 off of a Mishra's Workshop. But, yeah. I actually don't like Bobble at all against Raker if I have to cut cards. I'm actually not really super interested in bobbling them. They have so many hands that just play through Bobble. It doesn't really spark joy. I don't even think we have room for more swords. I guess it's just like, is this Portable Hole even good? What do I ever hit with this Portable Hole? I guess there's chalices and baubles, so we probably want access to a single Portable Hole at least. Let's try this, but I could see arguments for a couple other things here. I have a cat. I have a very controlling hand. We do have Vault Key Saga in a couple turns here. It's probably worth trying. We do currently have to use our Lorien to get a black source to Demonic for a Time Vault, but not a huge deal. Hercules is kind of wishy-washy in this matchup anyways. Is Gifts better than PO here? I chose to play Gifts because it was more interesting than PO, and it has performed extremely well, so maybe. PO was a consideration, though. I think your last, like, 3 blue slots could be anything. Brainstorm, PO, Flow State, whatever you think makes the most sense for you. I'm pretty happy with this hand. It's not the best, but it's still pretty good. I don't really value these constructs at all, basically. If my opponent has Rakers or Speed or One Ring. So we're mostly just trying to Turbo Saga into a Manifold Key and DT for Time Vault, which is the name of our deck, Turbo Vault Key. So. Okay. Let's see what we can do. 6-card hand from the opponent. I'm gonna lead Sapphire and then play Saga. I guess it doesn't really matter because they have nothing that counters either of these. And we'll see what opponent does on turn 1 here. This is a spot where you could theoretically let a ring resolve because a ring is not killing you right away, and you are killing on the following turn. Not the following turn, but the turn after. Opponent siding into 61 normal? No, but it's not the end of the world either. I wish I could have a fetch land instead of a Tundra here, so I wouldn't have to use my Lorien Revealed, so I could keep open the ability to Hurkyl's Recall, maybe, but I don't know if that matters very much. Workshop opener. Let's see. I guess Hurkyl's Recall here covers us from Car, which is pretty good. Like, if opponent goes for a Car kill, we can just let it happen, and then Hurkyl's. And then we have 3 mana, so we could still wait on Lorien Revealed after we draw. I guess theoretically we don't ever have to Lorien Revealed on our first turn here, because we have 3 mana on the next turn anyways. So maybe we're interested in like letting a 1-ring resolve and then Hurkyl'sing. Jeez. How do I feel about that? I don't know that forcing this does anything, so I'm just gonna let this resolve and see what else they've got for us. Maybe they'll go Monolith card 0. Monolith. I don't want to see Tezzeret, really. I could always Hurkyl's Enforce as well. Flesh Raker. That is certainly one of the ways we could lose. But the thing is, we need this demonic, we need this Lorien to cast our demonic tutor currently. I have no idea if I'm supposed to do this here. Hurkyl's Force. Well, my Saga is currently my tutor for Vault Key, which is my current plan. I mean, this is the kind of thing that will kill me, Da Vinci. Like, I'm gonna have to tap for a demonic tutor next turn if I want to. If I want to go Vault Keying. I won't be able to counter top if I DT next turn. And I think focusing on DTing is important. But I won't be able to DT if I do this, to be fair. Like, I won't be able to... I would have to rip a black source. This feels real bad for me. I don't know. Like, it's not like you want me to hold up Hurkyl's next turn. Like, that feels pretty bad. I don't know. It's definitely on the edge. See what I draw, get more information. I don't want to Hurkles now. So I can hold my DT now, though, right? Will I have enough mana if I... Well, it depends on if they replay Bauble or not. I mean, I guess we're passing, holding up, right? If I do it right now, I can play, and then I would be forcing Bauble. I mean, then they just get too much shit. I think it's just passing. This just looks like an awful spot, though. We'll see what they play. So if they do nothing that matters, we can end step a Hurkles recall, get a key, play a jet DT, and we would still need to hit a mana, so we would have to Lorien as well. So if they do just like, if they do nothing or they play the One Ring, then we can end step. I think I was just supposed to force this Flush Raker, man. It's fine. See how this plays out. Vexing Bauble is so good. I mean, they should just spin, right? They just have it. I should just force the Flush Raker, man. So what happens now if I Hurkles? My opponent gets 1,000,000 mana. And I don't have a black source. And they replay Bauble. And we're just lost. Ah, man. I don't know. I know I can Hurkles and force, but how am I winning the game if I'm doing that, man? We're in such a worse spot than if we had Hurkles and forced on the Raker. So frustrating. I feel like I just like got baited into a bad line. I don't think it's result-oriented thinking. I think this was the likely outcome of how my opponent was playing the game, and I made the wrong choice. All they have to do is find a Tezzeret here to win. This was just a bad play. I just shouldn't have taken what chat said into consideration at all. I should have made the correct play when I should have just Hurkles and forced the Raker. I guess a Tezzeret doesn't do it, right? Because they have to draw into Tezzeret. I guess it does do it because they can draw into it with Bauble. Oh, nope, they're going one deeper. All right, that's good. One deeper here is good. Oh, no, they have a Monolith, so... Third top, I die. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is my fault. I have to make the play that makes the most sense. And... Oh, that actually would have been pretty good. I just have to make the play that actually makes the most sense, that gives me the highest chance of winning, and I feel like I didn't do that, and I'm gonna lose because of it, which is good. So we actually would have been in a really tough spot though, because we just wouldn't have the mana to cast our Demonic Tutor until we got to maybe Black Lotus. But we could still have gotten to there and like gotten a Null Rod or something. Though I guess my opponent did have 3 Sensei's tops in their top 8 cards, top 9 cards, which is not ideal. I guess it's more like top 12, right? Because they spawn. All right, so we're reviewing the critical moment of this match in a spot where my conclusion is this play was bad and opened us up to way too many bad things happening. So you have to think about the cards we exactly have, what is our game plan, and what are we weak to? Where if we counter this, we are always buying ourselves 2 turns for the most part. And we don't want to do this because we want to have options on our blue cards, right? We don't want to go all in. We don't want to lose our Lorien Reveal, which is our DT mana. We don't want to use these cards. But if we think about what we gain and what we can lose to, I don't actually think it's that bad for us. Because if we use these cards to counter this, if they have no more Moxen mana, they're doing nothing else this turn, and we're untapping. With our untap, you know, we know we're drawing a jet post, but we can't evaluate with that knowledge. We have to evaluate without that knowledge. So without that knowledge, if we hit a fetch land, we can DT, and that in which case we can go for Volt Key still. If we don't, we can at least make constructs, which isn't great against the One Ring, but it's decent against Tezzeret. It's decent against Karn. And the One Ring isn't a huge problem because we have a Saga that can come off and Needle. So by countering this Fleshraker, we're eliminating their best avenue to win the game. You know, what would have actually happened is we would have drawn a jet and immediately like crushed our opponent with a DT into Time Vault, and then they have to win the game on the spot. It's bad against another Raker, but like you are telling me the odds of like them having double top are bad. The odds of them having double Raker double top are infinitely worse. I think constructs will win here if they don't have a second Raker. I think if they have a second Raker, constructs are useless. But like we're covering a lot of edges, right? Like a second Raker is pretty problematic anyways because it might just kill us. Like obviously it's unfortunate that my opponent had 3 tops in their top 12 cards. But I think this game was extremely winnable, and I have huge regrets. And I think if I'm playing this with no influence from other players, this is just a win for me. But that's kind of the hazard of streaming. And the thing that the streamer needs to do is filter out lines that get you killed. Yeah, I was concerned. You're absolutely correct, Wolf. I was concerned that putting all my spells in here left me with nothing. But I think that's a misevaluation. And the reason that I think it's a misevaluation is because I think that constructs cover Tezzeret, Saga covers Ring, and the only thing I'm exposing myself to is second Raker, right? So I think the misevaluation comes from me thinking that I have nothing here. When it's not I have nothing, I actually have a Needle on Suspend and constructs that are good against non-second Rakers. So that's the misevaluation in my opinion, is I think I misevaluated how good my line would be if like things go badly and I only can do constructs and a Saga trigger. That's not good. That's where I think I misevaluated. So I think I like this keep. I like the original game plan of trying to vault key. I think I maybe tunnel vision too hard on that game plan in trying to hold these cards when I can theoretically win this game using just Saga. And like I mentioned in the conversation that I don't think that Saga is good in general because of Raker. However, if I'm countering Raker, that's going to put us in a pretty good spot in terms of like how likely are they to have second Raker, right? However, that's slightly untrue as well because I am Hercules recalling back Grim Monolith. So it's not like they have a hard time casting second Raker here because they will have a new Monolith. I lose versus Carr. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think Carr is bad. I thought Carr was pretty bad, and I think Karn is kind of bad, but I actually think Karn's okay because we do have a construct token. But maybe the construct token wouldn't be big enough actually. But like, I don't think you're supposed to play around like Carr and Karn. I think you're supposed to play around Tezzeret, Raker, and Ring, right? Those are the cards that you want to talk about. No. So I don't think forcing Raker leaves us weak to Ring. Why do you think forcing Raker leaves us weak to Ring? They can get at maximum one, and then if they're like super lucky, 2 ring draws. So like they can get 1 ring draw, and if they have like a key or a Tezzeret with like a bunch of mana, then they can have 2 ring draws. But then we have a needle coming off our Saga, so we're not actually weak to Ring in the long term. We're only, they're not going to get a huge amount of value. If the Ring is 4 mana, draw 1 card, like that's actually how you beat the Ring. And that's like part of the reason why I think I messed this play up, is because I wasn't evaluating Needle on Ring here as a game winning play. Like I do think it's like pretty unfortunate that we lost with the line we took, to be fair. Like I think the amount of times your opponent has triple top here aren't like are not a lot of times. So like I'm not saying that the line we took doesn't have merit, right? Because I wouldn't have taken it if it has no merit. If I don't draw a black source, I just said it. If you don't draw a black source here, you're making a construct, and you have a Saga going off that can have a needle. And so with constructs, you're covering Tezzeret for some amount of Tezzeret, and with needle, you're covering Ring. So you don't actually need a black source here. Now, like, again, I don't think constructs are great in the matchup because of Raker, but if we have countered Raker, then the only thing that's really punishing constructs is another Raker. Now, if I had ripped this jet after making the play, would I have made constructs? Probably not. I probably would have gone demonic time vault, play it, and make my opponent beat me. But I think that's acceptable. Well, it wouldn't be this jet. Like theoretically, if it's a different black source, like you're still just getting the time vault and then playing it on the next turn anyways. So, okay, all this is to say is that there was one choice in this game, for the most part. Like I don't think you're ever supposed to force this bobble. I don't really like forcing this bobble. Like, yeah, I don't ever like forcing this bobble. What would if I forced this bobble, I'd be like pitching recall, and it's pretty bad for me. Yeah, I don't really like that. So it's just like this spot in this play, and I think I made the wrong choice and lost because of it. So that's why I wanted to review this. All right, let's shake off our misplay here as we go into round 4. We're up against Kenzaburo, who did beat me in a league with a Grixis Breach deck with Thundertrap Trainer that was not PO, which I thought was really cool. It was like Thundertrap Trainer, Flame of Anor, Abrade, Breach, stock up stuff. I was really impressed with it, so we'll see if Kenza is still on that. Kenza is a brewer inside of the like multicolor blue Lurrus deck space, so we definitely have some room to figure out what they're up to. Let me see if I can pull up my picture from my opponent's last match with me. I taken a picture because I thought the deck list looked cool. So open media link. So this is the last time I played against this player. So you're seeing Negation, Demonic, Stock Up, Abrade, main deck Spellbomb, main deck Trap, Thunder Trap Trainer, Flame of Anor, Chain of Vapor, Breach, and Grixis Colorful Moxen. And we have a Lurrus. My hand is pretty good. I don't think I'm probing. I think I am just going Jet Caracas Fiddlebender. I did lose my matchup with this player with this deck 0-2, so that's something to consider. Flame of Anor is a complete and utter beating. We are a pearl away from killing our opponent on the next turn, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if Time Walk can get us there realistically. We would have to draw a 1-drop for that to work. This could be a Braid. This could be Thunder Trap Trainer. Let's see. Thunder Trap Trainer. Okay. Black Lotus off Thunder Trap Trainer. This card is so good. Can be Hardcast Negation. Island. Don't like Island very much here. I don't really like getting key. But getting key means if we draw a 0, we can win. Right? So if we go Time Walk here, and then we turn our jet into a key, it means if we draw a Mox, we can go Mox into Cam, untap, Cam into Time Vault. So I think I'm in. Our chance of hitting a 0 is fairly high. And any 1 also works because 1 just goes into 2. Also, if we want to sacrifice our key to get a Time Vault, we can buy it back later. So I'm gonna get a key here, and then we'll see what we can draw. Come on, 0-drop artifact. Please help a guy out here. Nothing. So then what do we do? Do we probe our opponent? Do we feel like we could lose the game if that happens? I mean, I could just play a land and buy Lurrus. Because Lurrus will let us win on the following turn. But it feels like asking for a lot. What's the percentage chance that we draw a blue card or a 0-drop artifact or a 1-drop artifact? Like, I feel like it's so high, right? 7 hits. I guess it's not that high. It's like 16 hits or something. So fetching a Surveil land is like a lot worse than buying Lurrus, right? guess it's not like a lot worse because it's not like we can Lurrus back Jet and still win on the same turn because we won't have white. I guess if we do it right now, we have the information on if we want to probe. And then opponent has to make the call that a 0-drop kills them. It's not bad. I kind of like that. I don't mind that. Oh, wait, we won't have white, though. We need white. So unless it's a 1-drop, which they'll know they have to counter. Shit. Do I just get a Tundra and buy Lurrus then? I think I'm just going to get Tundra and buy Lurrus. I don't think attacking matters. She could get us killed by a random Snapcaster or something. Weird spot. Weird spot. This is why I always say that like Oswald takes so much white mana. God, if we get Flame of Anor with Force back up here, probably are gonna lose this game. We'll see. We'll see what we would have drawn. It's a tough spot. I don't know the answer to that one either. Ponder. I forgot they had like 2 Ponders in their deck. Okay. That's good for us because they already played Saga for some reason, so they don't have any option of hitting us with a Flame of Anor here. Definitely don't want to play the Saga before you cast your spell that draws you cards and gives you information. Unless you're trying to hold up Force for your Ponder, which would be interesting. All right, they declined to shuffle, and then they brainstormed. I assume after brainstorm they will Lorien revealed? Or maybe they're just like trying to dig for something. A Force for Lurrus, maybe? I don't know. This is very aggressive. Again, like, if you had this Saga in your hand, your Brainstorm is better because you have 1 extra card, and you can play a fetch land and fetch away. Yeah, but like, what kind of card are you envisioning, not me? Because I'm not really sure what card it would be. I think like the good part here is like we do still have a Jet. Stock up after. That's fine. Oh, flow state after. So they turned on flow state. So they already know 2 of the 3 cards on this brainstorm. Okay. Yeah, the 2-drop artifacts are kind of weird in general. This was a weird sequence from the opponent. I'm not saying it was wrong because I don't know the contents of their hand, but it just feels weird. All I want to do is see like a 0-drop artifact on the top of my library because my opponent will not know or may not know that they need to counter a 0. That is super bad for me. They have a Soul Guide and a Spell Bomb in their main. Maybe they swapped the Spell Bomb for a Soul Guide. This turns off the Jet in my yard for Lurrus, but I can't be fighting over this, so. Yeah, Cryogenic Relic is the value. Yeah, that's a good one. Stock up. Can I probe? Not really, because I want to cast this stock up, right? Unfortunately, again, I will lose my ability to have a 0 unless it's a Pearl. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to cast stock up, though. If my opponent forces this, I'm probably forcing back. My opponent's commandeering this in game 1! Pitching force on trainer. Force and trainer. All right, I will force your commandeer. They have 5 blue cards. My opponent's hand was commandeer, force, mindbreak, trap, trainer. Yeah, but like this is game 1. What are they doing with a commandeer in this format? I still don't think it's good, man. They never changed their deck list after the card got restricted. All right. Well, I got schooled. I got gamed here. My opponent gets to stock up, I guess. I was hoping they only had 3 blue cards after they pitched a forest, but I kind of had a feeling that things were about to go really bad for us. I think we just lost this game because like the chance that my opponent goes like Island Flame of Anor, kill my Oswald, my key here is pretty high, right? I kept the Tundra untapped on purpose because I wanted to be able to hit Ancestral and or Sewer Cam or Portable Hole or I want to be able to hit blue and white 1-mana spells. So and I was kind of thinking that with a Force of Will, my stock up was resolving. That turned out to be incorrect, but man, I really wish we had just drawn a 0-mana artifact on either of those draw steps so that this game would have been a lot easier. My opponent would have had to force the 0-mana artifact. They know my hand. That's fine. I guess I can just F6 now. Are we dead to a breach from this spot? Not yet. Draw with Lantern. Sapphire. Tundra. Oh, this is a different version. There's a Tundra. See, that's what I'm saying. They always change up their deck. It's really hard to pin them down. Okay. Bilbo. I mean, Bilbo lets me Vault Key. It's just kind of suicidal. But I guess I could Caracas it back to my hand. The problem is I just don't think I'm getting a turn here is the problem. This is a really rough game to have not drawn an additional Mox, but it's like, I guess it's asking for kind of a lot. So. I mean, they know my whole hand, so if they can kill me, they can kill me. I'm actually kind of surprised they went for Construct instead of buying Lurrus. Because buying Lurrus lets them buy back Lotus or Lantern. I see. It's a pretty good draw. Can't imagine we're getting a turn from this spot. I feel like we were in a good place in this game and we just didn't hit the right cards. Bro, Why do you always say this? What are you talking about, kinda? We're not getting a turn, man. This card is gonna do nothing. And if we do get a turn, we're gonna get Flame of Anord, probably. I think this card is... I mean, it had one good game today so far. Bringing back Tormod's Crypt. But overall, maybe a little bit overrated. I mean, I'm not the person who has 5 blue cards in my hand. That's not my life. Like, the real kicker about Commandeer in that spot is we don't actually need to play like a spell that can get commandeered, right? Like, the kicker in that spot is our best draw is just a 0 mana artifact. Which, like, what are they going to do? Commandeer our Mox? Like, they're not going to do that. I mean, they might have to do that because it was going to be lethal, but it just was so bad that it was stock up. Yeah, here's Flame of Anor off of Merchant Scroll. Whatever they go to kill, I can at least Caracas back. I assume they're going to kill the Fiddlebender. Yeah, that's fine. This is sorcery speed only. We lost our mana on our Academy. I don't like, yeah, but I feel if they double force over our Mox, like that's actually really good for us, right? I don't think they're like winning. Why are they attacking? Oh, okay, just with that. All right, so I still think Mox is our best draw because it gives us double the mana and we want to return things. Force. I mean, I think playing out a Lurrus is better. Can't play this because I no longer have any artifacts. Will attack because if they want to like return this later with Lurrus, that's fine. It turns off like the double flame for now. I don't think I'm blocking ever, so... Honestly, for like how much we got bullied in this game, it's still a little close. They can buy and play Lurrus. Like, we're like one good card away from winning, right? Like, if we hit a Mox on our next draw, we can replay Key with our Lurrus and then go for Vault, Time Vault still. Second Flame of Anor with hard cast negation mana. All right. I mean, I'll force it. That worked. Are they gonna breach after? Is that why? Oh, buy Lurrus. Wait, we can win this game. We can win this game. This game is winnable. This game is absolutely winnable. This game is winnable. Come on, please. Please, I deserve it. I'm being bullied. I got commandeered. It's a winnable game. God damn it, man. So I guess this turn it's buyback Key, turn it into Time Vault. I get an attack in here with Lurrus, which is pretty good. The problem is I just can't stop my opponent from doing anything if they play anything of value. And they're gonna Lurrus back. Oh no, they're gonna Lurrus back Lantern. So I can't do the play I want to do. So I think I just have to replay Key and not Oswald. And if they want to Lurrus back Thundertrap Trainer, do I care? What card would kill me? I guess Breach would kill me. So I guess I don't want to let them Lurrus back Thunderbat Trainer. I could get a Surveil land. Should I have done that before? After key? Maybe. This would mean that my black tutor is a dead draw, but... they've used all the flames that we know about. Okay, I want to keep that on top because it represents a thing that wins. If I put it in the yard, then my opponent can play Lurrus Soul Guide Lantern. Oh boy. I don't think this is gonna work. All right, so land is one card, Lurrus is one card. They have two unknowns. They have a lantern and a lotus in the yard. I think we might not be dead. I wonder if they'll keep that up to try to stop this. They have to leave this up because if I go Fiddlebender sacking key, replay with Lurrus, they would die. So they have to play Lantern and leave it up. So the question becomes, chat, the question becomes, do they know that they need to counter a Pearl? I mean, probably if I kept it on top, right? Time to find out. Sewer Valence Cam. Untap my Fiddlebender. Drawing with Lantern! Drawing with Lantern! They have to hit a braid. Untap. 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 Let's go! Yes! That's a crazy win! That is an unbelievable win! Wow! That is unbelievable win. Wow. You think they had a counterspell on the Pearl and they chose not to do it, or? Oh man. Wait a second. Can we beat a counterspell on Pearl? Because if they force Pearl, they don't have a timing window where I can replay Pearl with Lurrus, right? So it would have to be negation. It would actually have to be negation, right? Wow. This is really impressive. Like, I feel that this is one of the parts of this deck that is... This is an upgrade. Could have commandeered it, true. Okay, all right. We still need to win another game, which is not easy. I think this matchup is kind of challenging. So I like Flusterstorm here. I actually think I like Vamp against this specific deck, because they're not wastelanding me. And I like I don't like swords, but maybe portable hole and maybe trap. I think island can go. Needle can go. Swords can go. Maybe there's not enough targets for portable hole. I think I will keep one portable hole though. So I'll bring in Flusterstorm, Vamp, Trap, which is an interesting thing. Those are definitely interesting ones to bring in. And then I don't actually think negation is like amazing, but I probably just want it here. I like Lantern here. Chain of Vapor is probably not necessary, but it is blue. I think it's better than these other cards. Let's try this again. That was crazy. That was my favorite game of the day. Oswald, Cam. I do think Cam is like a legitimate upgrade to these Turbo Volt key decks. I wasn't sure when I started playing with it, but especially if you build it like super Underground Sea light, have a lot of white sources. Yeah, I think that's generally not a play that I'm super interested in Asgard. Yeah, I don't think it's like, you know, there's merit to it, but I try to keep everything as high power as I can. P-hole hits Lantern. Yeah, I just like don't know that I care that much about Lantern, but having a P-hole to have as an option is nice. Lotus Pearl stock up maybe. Trainer, that makes sense. This hits like Mox, stock up, Ancestral, something good. This card is so good. Have I said that this card's good yet? I don't feel like Portable Hole hitting Trainer is a good enough use of my time, but hey, maybe I should be considering it. Mox Ruby. By Lurrus. No blue source? Did they expect the trainer to hit a blue source? It's a little aggressive. All right, so I have to do some thinking here because we know my opponent has main deck Mindbreak Trap, right? So we could just go Pearl, Academy, Time Walk. Or I could go Pearl, Academy, Time Walk, and then, sorry, yeah, Pearl, Academy, Time Walk, and then play Sapphire Lantern. Yeah, that's what I want to do here. I want to play around my, I guess I could get my Time Walk commandeered. I don't think I'm allowed to play around Commandeer. If they want to Mindbreak Trap this, I think it's fine. Because I want to get as much mana as play as I can so I can cast Lorien Revealed, right? Well, I don't want to hold the Academy for the Time Walk turn because I want to be able to have a black mana and play Vampiric Tutor, right? So I'd rather just get the Academy and play first. Like, it just gives me more options. All right, 5 mana, draw 3. Cool. All right, I like our spot. I don't like drawing Cam, but it's not the worst. It comes back, it draws cards. They ripped a fetch land off the top. That's pretty good. Let's see if they have a flame. Wow, they have Underground Sea as well. They're just gonna play Lurrus with Lotus. Yeah, I'm gonna force this. If I hadn't gotten my Lantern misstep, I probably wouldn't even force there. Time Vault. So I can Lurrus here. I think I like it a lot. I'm trying to play around Trap still, but maybe that's not worth it. All right. So now I'm protected against Breach. I'm pretty weak to Flame of Anor again, but maybe that's fine. Just a Braid on my Lurrus. It's fine. It's a good trade for us. Lurrus was free and bought back Lantern. They only have 2 cards left in their hand. Our Vamp is not castable yet. Bilbo. I have Lurrus. I have Bilbo Lantern. Cam. Yeah, I'm going to just hold the Cam. We can do it at end step and draw cards. I think I'm just going to keep this Lantern around to try to hit... Why don't you like playing Time Vault? What about playing Time Vault don't you like? Doesn't this give me the mana? I guess I had the mana regardless. They hit Ancestral Recall. All right, I'm going to try to draw a Counterspell. This lets me hit Flusterstorm off my Cam here. Why did my opponent concede? Did they just assume that I was countering their Ancestral? I'm so confused. Maybe they thought I was countering the Ancestral with like a force. All right, let's see what I would have drawn. Portable Hole. Oh, ooh, let's go. Oh, we were good here, though. We played the Time Vault out. We got the 6 mana. We have the Cam Sack Fluster. Ooh, opponent just knew before we knew. You don't like exposing Volt to Flame. I don't think I'm like that worried about that. Like if they end up going like Flame, kill Bilbo, kill Volt instead of drawing 2 cards, isn't that like okay for us? Like, it's not like we can't get them back. We still have 3 more Bilbos, and we have a Yogg-Will. Like, if we hit Black Source, we can vamp Yogg-Will and then Yogg-Will back everything. You might be right, though. Like, we don't have to play Time Vault here. Certainly don't have to. But we also have seen Mindbreak Trap, Commandeer, and Negation from the opponent, so... Not sure. All I know is this Cam is going to be so sick. I kind of wish I had a 3rd Flusterstorm sometimes. Okay, welcome to round 5 of 6 in the Vintage Challenge. A win here would probably put us in a very good spot to top 8. Our opponent is Shockwave. Shockwave is a prolific brewer. Very powerful wizard. Shockwave plays Planeswalker Control in Vintage. So, mostly singleton, big blue, so full Moxen kind of stuff. With Karn, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Tezzeret, Narset, Teferi, 1 PO, 1 Tinker. Oh, we're back on Tinker. Oh, I should have categorized this differently then. Hold on. I didn't realize he's back on Tinker. For a while, he was off of Tinker. I might have to go fix a bunch of Shockwave data points here. I gotta put this off to the side because I normally put him in blue control because normally he does not play Tinker. But I need to go fix that. Either way, it'll be a hard-fought match. We have a cat. Let's see what we can do. His hand looks good. We got a lot of Black Lotus openers here. Yeah, I normally put Shockwave decks in blue control because they normally omit Tinker, but I'll have to go fix those. We're definitely looking at turn 1 Lurrus here. All right, so yeah, I'm just gonna do this while I wait because Shockwave does do a little bit of a thinking sometimes. I'm going to swap that to Tinker, and then I go look at some of his other ones. 12th place in the 13 challenge. That's Tinker as well. So make all my pictures wrong, but it is what it is. One of the few players who changes their deck week to week, which is nice. Eight and 7. All right, let's see what they have for us here. Needle. Wow. So they could name Key, they could name Flooded Strand, and they could name Lorien. Get Probe Needle. Well, that's not exactly true, not me, because what if they name Flooded Strand here? Then where are we going? Especially if we have to force to get gifts through. I don't think I'm allowed to force this regardless, so I'm going to let it through, but naming Flooded Strand is pretty reasonable here. Okay, so now we can just go Lurrus Lotus. Do we play around Days? Let me just go look at the last winning list here so I don't do anything stupid. No Days. No Trap. Okay, so I'm just gonna go Mana Crypt, Manifold Key, Lotus, Lurrus. And then next turn we'll have gifts with Lurrus, and we should be able to win. It's a fairly nice looking gift spot. This was a good draw. We might want to start thinking about our gifts pile. It's Time Vault. It's Flusterstorm. Time Vault, Flusterstorm, Vexing Bauble. Something like that, maybe? DT with a Tundra open. Ancestral, Flusterstorm. We probably want to just force this, right? Oh, there's also Portable Hole in the main. No swords. Like, Flusterstorm is pretty annoying, isn't it? I guess it's not that annoying. I just pay for it. And then the vault goes in the yard. But I also want to make sure my gifts resolves, right? I guess if I get sorted, how mad am I? Pretty mad. Because I don't really want to gifts without the ability to bring it back right away, which I guess I could make my pile Yogwill. I could make my pile Yogwill, Bilbo, Time Vault, Time Walk or something. But I'm a little worried about mana actually from that point because we won't have access to a lot of black mana for something like that, especially if we end up pitching Force. There could be a Soul Guide Lantern as well. The thing I'm worried about is like... I think I just let this go. I think I just let it go. See what they come up with. Lotus Petal balance. All right. Yeah, I guess so. Assuming they tutored for balance, that means that we had no other choice here. We were gonna get this was gonna happen regardless. If they tutored for a blue card, we could have forced demonic. We're gonna lose our gifts. Oh, you wanted to, what did you want me to do? Keep gifts forced and then hope to draw a blue card? I don't know. I don't know if I like that. We still have lots of good hits here. That is certainly one of them. Hey, look, it's my second Lurrus. Jeez, that's got to be lethal, right? All right. I'm not exactly sure what this looks like. I think it's like Time Walk. It's probably Time Walk, Time Vault. Time Walk, Time Vault, Yogwill, and then the other card doesn't matter, because if they give me Yogwill, then I win. If they give me Time Walk, then I win. If they give me Time Vault, then I win. So the last card doesn't matter. If the last card doesn't matter, then Ancestral, I guess. I mean, that was a pretty impressive showing for both gifts and for Bilbo. Chain for my Crypt. Yeah, I'm not super worried about Crypt because I have a Lurrus Yogwill. I guess they won't give me Yogwill. Yeah, I guess Chain is probably best because there's really no reason not to do it. I could technically lose the race. It'll be hard for me to lose the race, but I could technically lose the race. Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. I guess I get every card because Bilbo gets all of those cards. This is like kind of the upside where Bilbo just can do anything. It gets Time Vault back and it gets all the instants and sorceries back. Okay. That was weird. So like, actually, can we go back to not let it resolve, keep gifts a blue card and hope the top card is blue? Yeah, that only makes sense if we think they have force for sure, right? And it like puts us in a pretty bad spot if we have to use our Lotus on gifts and like don't have a blue card. I don't know that I like that much. I think our top deck is a lot better than our opponent because our opponent's not playing Lorien Revealed. Our opponent is not playing Stock Up. Like we have a really robust top deck set situation. I like Flusterstorm. My opponent is not on Wastelands in this build. My opponent might have been on 4 Flooded Strand, by the way. That's pretty funny. So I like Flusterstorm. I kind of like Mindbreak Trap, honestly, against what my opponent typically does to me. I don't actually like Consign. We might want access to Portable Hole. My opponent never plays the creatures, so I don't play Swords. I don't play Island. I like Needle. Maybe I like 2 Needles because they are playing a million Planeswalkers. So maybe I will just go with 1 Portable Hole option and then cut No Caracas, right? Oh, they have one strip mine. I see. That's fine. I don't know what I guess Soul Guide Lantern is only good against Yogwell. It's probably not enough. Let's try this. Hand's good. So far, I mean, I've been pretty happy with our deck. It's done exactly what I designed it to do. It has a lot of versatility, but it still contains powerful cards. It gives us the ability to vintage our opponent, but not always have to vintage our opponent. Opponent mulligan to 6. Opponent mulligan to 5. Always love a good fiddle bent. All right, what do we got? 5-card hand from Shockwave with a fetch and then a pass. Might be an Ancestral on my upkeep. It's an Ancestral on my upkeep. I'll attack that. Resolves. Interesting. Checking out the deck list again. 2 Flusterstorm. No trap. I play Soul Ring in my deck. I don't play Mana Vault because I don't think it's good enough without like PO. I don't really value the tapped, can't untap mana of it. Just trying to figure out if I want to Merchant Scroll for Ancestral and cast it. Because I have other options here. I can Merchant Scroll for Gifts Ungiven and play from that angle. I could play Mana Crypt, buy Lurrus with a Lotus Petal. I actually have no idea what I'm supposed to do from this spot. In terms of like which is better. Like I think those are the two things I would do. I just don't know which of those is better. I guess in general, I always want to play Tundra, Mana Crypt, Merchant Scroll first to play around Mindbreak Trap in the most meaningful way. Then the question becomes, what am I doing with my remaining mana? Am I casting Ancestral this turn? I don't think my opponent has negation, or they would have negated force on such a low count. So it's just if I want to play into possible Mindbreak Trap. I feel like I guess I can play around Mindbreak Trap by because I can play through Flusterstorm by having Soul Ring Petal. Okay, so I'm gonna go Ancestral, and I'm gonna go Soul Ring And I'm going to go Petal. And I can actually beat a Flusterstorm because I have a Soul Ring, right? I play this, I get Flusterstorm. The stack is 1, it's 2. That way I don't play into Trap for no reason. Blue, white. Top. Misstep. 2 cards in my opponent's hand. Portable Hole. Prismatic Ending on my Soul Ring. That's fine. 1 card left for my opponent. They don't play Lurrus. We play Lurrus. I like this spot a lot. I am going to buy Lurrus. And I think I'm going to hold on to this extra blue card, and I can maybe cast it later using Petals, so I don't want to use this Lorien Revealed. 2 cards from my opponent. Brainstorm. That's fine. Up to 4, down to 2. Might lock themselves. We'll see. I do like my opponent's deck a lot. I just wish it played 4 stock-ups. That's the change I would make. But to be fair, the last time I said that, right? So Shockwave like won a challenge. And I said, I will take this deck and I'm going to add 4 stock-ups. And I took Shockwave's deck, added 4 stock-ups, and then I also won a challenge. So, you know, it's a vintage deck. You can get away with either way. Both of them will work. And we are in the 3-1 bracket of this event. I'm a big Shockwave fan, in case you can't tell. Anyone casting Jace the Mind Sculptor in Vintage in 2026 is the good guy. We just have different deck building philosophies. I'm going to keep working through his list because I have to fix a bunch of these lists. The 8th contains Tinker. Wow, I really messed up a bunch of these lists. It's just so hard to categorize his decks sometimes because they get auto-sorted as PO because there's 1 PO in them. This is an interesting one because if I counter this, there's like a very realistic chance my opponent can't play another spell like for the rest of the game. Not the rest of the game, but like there's brainstorms and stuff happening. I think I'm going to negate this. So the thing I'm worried about is if I let this go and my opponent has like back-to-back walkers. But I can always just force the first walker, so I'm probably just supposed to let this go. Oh, they have a fetch land. Okay. See if they fetch away those cards. All right. So I like... I'm not even sure that I'm supposed to... I should get a land here, maybe? Can't you just attack the Jace? That's funny. I could get a Surveil land. I think I'm supposed to get a Surveil land here. Sweet. I'm just gonna bin this. I'm gonna bin this Bilbo. Because it's like drawing a card. I can replay it next turn. They did not fetch, by the way. Stock up. That's just the fucking best draw in my entire deck. It was a good thing I did not force the Soul Ring. You're right. This is by far like the best draw in my entire deck, by the way. I'm pretty sure it just wins on the spot with a Gifts Ungiven off of Merchant Scroll. I'm pretty sure this is deterministic. I just have to figure it out. Let me think for a second here. So if I flashback Gifts Ungiven for Yogg will... No, I think I'm just supposed to cast Stock Up Time Walk. It's just easier. I think it's just easier to do that. There might be a deterministic gifts from the spot, but Time Walk is going to give us what we need, I think. So, I think I'm just going to take Force Stock Up. Probably fine. And then I will... Yeah, anytime you Time Walk with Bilbo, it's just completely and utterly broken. Oh, I still have a Lurrus. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to... I don't think I played this correctly, but I also don't know that it matters very much. I think I'm supposed to cast Stock Up again. Because I still have a Lurrus, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that'll definitely do it. Okay. Wow, that was so gross. That's really crazy. Damn. Okay, this deck is so sick. This is very much my alley. I feel great about this. Okay, welcome to the sixth and final round of Swiss. We are win and in guaranteed. We lost a little bit of tiebreakers there, but we still have decent tiebreakers. But we did get paired down pretty heavily here. So we're looking to win and lock up our top 8 spot. If we lose, we might still get in. Here we go. I won the die roll. I have a cat. I have this Gifts. This is like the kind of spot where Gifts does not look good, right? But I have Probe Needle against an unknown. I'm okay with this. I think this is fine. And then if it's not, if I don't need a needle, I can just play Fiddlebender and we're off to the races here. Let's see what opponent's working with. We're dead. Manifold Key, Tinker, Squelcher, Demonic, Negation. I guess we're not dead, but this Tinker is going to kick our ass. We could take away their source and make them negate this by cracking our own Flooded Strand like our opponent did to us. I think we kind of have to, actually. It looks really bad if we don't. I almost didn't even recognize this as a Flooded Strand. I think I'm going to get another Tundra to prep for an Oswald chain. We're still like... Oh, they just let it happen? I feel like they had to... I feel like they had to actually... Oh, I don't know. I feel like I would have negated if I were them. Because they do still have Demonic Tutor, so... Oh, no! Maybe they'll just Tinker. And then maybe we can chain it. I mean, we tried. Well, they're going for something. No, they would just DT for Vault. I was thinking you could just Tinker for Citadel. But it looks like they're going to DT for Vault and then try to find backup. So if they hit a red source, they can have Squelcher. We do have a chain to buy us a turn, though. So maybe we'll have enough. They could DT for Force of Will so they can Tinker on the following turn. That's reasonable as well. Yeah. I mean, my opponent's hand is just really brutal. It looks like they're playing my deck from NYSE, the Grixis Tinker deck. We probably need to draw... I don't even know if I want to call for a Force, because if we get a Force and they play like Squelcher, I'll be super sad. That's not doing anything. Yeah, I mean, if our Chain of Vapor buys us a turn, then we could Portable Hole. This is true. I could have led on Oswald and let my opponent have full mana. Actually, though, if I Chain of Vapor, I will have to draw a 0 to get Portable Hole, so it doesn't exactly work. They drew red mana! Squelcher. If they... Wait a second, though. Okay. Okay. This is still fine. If we don't have to use our pedal, we can Portable Hole. Oh, they went for Citadel! Oh, they probably went for Force, and then they went for Citadel. So their hand is Flooded Strand, Force of Negation, Force of Will. But if I draw a white land, I win. Right? If I draw a white land, I win. Because I can go... No, I don't have enough... Yeah, I can go white up to... No, I don't have a way to get key, actually. So I would have to draw... Let me think about this for a second. Because I can't get a 0. I can't get a 1. I need a 0 to get a 1. So I would have to draw... I'd have to draw exactly Pearl again, right? So instead, I should just Chain of Vapor the Citadel and make my opponent Force. But I could wait and then... If they don't have a Force and I Chain of Vapor the Citadel and then they play a Time Vault... If they do have a blue card but not a Force, then I don't want to do it on my turn. Well, no, because if they have a blue card that's not a Force, then they can negate my chain. They could also have a counterspell on top of their Citadel. I know that us drawing gives us a chance to draw a Force. It's unfortunate that I can't just like get a Vexing Bauble because there's a Squelcher. Okay. I'm gonna go. Well, we could go to our turn and Portable Hole the Squelcher if we draw a Force, and then chain the Citadel. Because right now it doesn't do anything. What do you want? Why do you want to get a Portable Hole right now? Like right now, it doesn't do anything. If we were to draw Force of Will, then you would want to change this into a Portable Hole the Squelcher, chain the Citadel. Though then they could just sack and bounce your Portable Hole back. So maybe that doesn't work either. But that would already be after the chain, so that's fine, actually. But then we would have to draw Force of Will for that to be good. Whereas... Yeah, but like, I'm not sure we care about stopping Volt Key unless Time Volt is their last card in hand. I mean, if I were them, I would have DT'd for force. They DT'd before they hit the red source. I'm gonna draw. Non-white land. I wish I could just turn this into a Vexing Bauble and then chain, but the Squelcher is stopping me. I could chain back my own needle. I think I'm just supposed to chain this Citadel. That worked. So that means they have Time Vault in their hand. So I'm gonna go get a Portable Hole. Yeah, because this is a sorcery speed thing, so I need to know if the chain worked. If we win this game, it doesn't feel right, but I'll take it. Okay, so they have Hard Cast Negation. They have Flooded Strand, Citadel, and Time Vault maybe is their last card. I'm gonna go get a land here. I'm gonna go get a white land here, but I don't know that it matters. So I don't think I can have enough. I got another white land. So we know they have negation, so we don't really want to go gifting. So I think we just buy Lurrus. I think buying Lurrus is better than, like, they're gonna hold up this thing until they find a better spell anyways, right? So I feel like if I play this on their end step, it's not even that good. Whereas Lurrus is buying back Petal, which is letting us win, right? Yeah, I'm gonna, well, yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna just so this wins on the spot, right? Or no, we won't have enough. We have enough white? So if I play Ruby and I play Lurrus and I play Petal, I think we're short. I think we're short. I think because Lurrus costs 2 white, I can't do it with this. So I should just bin it. Unless I'm, like, misinterpreting how this works. I don't think so. We're pretty lucky to have drawn no Flooded Strands and only lands. Though I can always sack the needle if I need to. They could draw Lotus, I guess. Oh, they kept this card on top. I guess if my opponent, like, plays a spell on their turn and taps out of negation, then I could have gifts. But I don't know. They're, like, not 100% to do that. Whereas Lurrus is always improving my game, right? Maybe I played this game too passively. Island cycle. So they probably brainstormed away the dead strand. But we could have resolved gifts here. So, I mean, maybe it was a mistake. They're trying to build towards us. I mean, they probably put Citadel back in their deck as well. No, because you need triple white mana, CRK, and you need 2 0-drops. Because we need a 0-drop to get to key, and we need triple white. And so playing Lurrus and buying back our pedal wasn't triple white, or it wasn't triple white with 2 0-drops that stay in play. You feel like they were incredibly likely to do something on their turn? I don't know if I agree with that statement, but... Scroll. I mean, we haven't won the game yet. I just feel like none of my things do anything. I guess I can get a Soul Guide Lantern. I just like, I have to pass here no matter what, right? Is there a world where there's like a gifts pile for all 0-drops? Like if I gifts for Crypt, Lotus, Pearl, Jet, does that get me anywhere? If I gift for if I gifts, I think it just takes too much mana. Gifts for Crypt, Lotus, Pearl, Jet. If I gifts for Crypt, Lotus, Pearl, Jet, my opponent gives me Pearl, Jet. I then have 4 mana with a Lurrus and a Lotus. Though I guess my Lotus can just get negated. I guess anything can just be negated. So that doesn't really help me. I think what I just wish I had an interactive spell that did something, but I don't feel like I do. I think I just return Ruby and I turn it into a key and I make my opponent kill me. There's just no targets on this scroll, right? I don't think Gifts is going to resolve. I think Gifts is going to get negated is why I didn't. I guess I can make the Gifts happen right now with a counter spell with an Ancestral. And then I don't need to get the Time Vault because I can still kill them with a replayed Petal next turn or even a replayed Ruby next turn. I think it's extremely likely my opponent has a blue card. They cast Brainstorm and then Probed. I kind of want them to negate my Ancestral. What is happening? Okay, I don't know. I'm so confused. What did they do? They brainstormed it away? Oh, I'm dead, man. I'm so fucking dead. Oh, so dead. I thought about just getting this lantern, but now I'm gonna get Yogg-Willed. Oh no! I didn't have to go Ancestral. I could have just gotten Soul Guide Lantern, man. Ah. I threw this game. All right. Oh, F6, see what happens. I didn't need to cast this Merchant Scroll. It was just not a correct play. It was so bad. So what I wanted to do was I was just going to go get a Soul Guide Lantern because next turn, wait, no, I wouldn't have the double colorless. I don't know. I got nothing, so, but I do have their Manifold Key, I guess. So maybe it's hard for them to win. I don't know. I feel like I played this game really poorly. Well, they decided just to not keep Force Blue card and to instead just go for a Vamp win, which is just that was not on my radar at all. I thought for sure they would go for I don't know. Yeah, there were like options of getting key. There was options of getting lantern as like the one interactive piece I had. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable to go Merchant Ancestral. Like, that wasn't terrible. Where are you getting Tutor Key, Asgard? Like, I have to... Like, I have to do it in 2 turns because I don't have enough stuff. Like, I still have a win here. I don't know if you know that. Like, I don't have to Tutor Key. Because if I replay Petal from my yard with Lurrus, I can turn the Ruby into a Cam into a Time Vault, and then the Petal into a Key. Like, I am still winning on the next turn. It's just I don't think I'm getting a next turn because my opponent just cast Yogwill. But maybe I am. Maybe they don't find a way to win here. I don't know. I also made the line Condi because I thought Ancestral would be countered. I think we were on the same wavelength. I think after I had done the Lurrus, it made sense to just do the Merchant Scroll. Oh, I'm not worried about clock at all, Moss Ride. We have so much clock. All right, let's see what they demonic for. What is our answer? Does anyone remember the answer that I put in the deck? Like my opponent's deck is my Grixis Tinker deck, right? What do I have in that deck? Chain. I have chain. Oh, I was supposed to get a Force of Will so that I could bounce Squelcher and then force them. Well, I can just bounce the key, right? Does that help? I don't think that helps, right? Because they untap a Mana Vault with the mana, and then they play the key again, and it's the exact same spot. I feel like it doesn't do anything. They know my hand, so there's no reason for me to bounce Squelcher. If I had tutored for Force of Will, I could Chain of Vapor the Squelcher here. I guess this doesn't really matter, to be fair. Oh, no, but then they can bounce my Oswald. I don't know if they'll see that, but... I mean, if it gives me a turn, it's probably fine. It's probably fine. I think I'm not supposed to do anything here, but it's okay. This might lose me the game. Yeah, this might lose me the game. No, this definitely loses me the game. They make extra mana. Chat! Oh, why did I do that? Okay, that was a throw. This definitely loses me the game. All right, I threw that game. Okay. I threw that game. They were not 1 mana short. It's fine. I just threw the game for no reason. I got to stop looking at Twitch chat. I gotta stop looking at Twitch chat, man. I have to stop looking at Twitch chat. It just gets me killed. I've lost so many games today by looking at Twitch chat. It's okay. I did not play that game very well. I didn't really understand what was happening in a lot of the spots. This is a a Hull Breacher matchup. I actually don't think I need to kill a Hull Breacher at all, unless they play an opposition agent. That was a huge mistake. I think there's multiple huge mistakes in that game. I might turn off chat for the last game so I can actually play seriously and try to win. Okay, let's focus back up here. I probably should have made my opponent play out those infinite turns as well. Not actually sure what my sequence is here. There were negations in my other deck, right? I think I'm just going to Ancestral on their upkeep. Is Carr dead now? What does that even mean? Carr is exactly fine. I don't understand. Is Raker Shops dead? No, Raker Shops was good before Carr was existed. Force pitching Brainstorm. Sure. Tinker? You forced my thing and then tinkered? Okay. Glad I didn't force back. Squelcher. Maybe a Hull Breacher. It's a good draw. I guess I would have drawn Force off of Ancestral, so it would not have mattered. I would have drawn Force blue card off Ancestral, but that's not really a risk I'm willing to take there, so. Hull Breacher. Does not matter here. That's really annoying. I think I'll make that trade. Yeah, I think I'll make that trade. Just removes a way I can lose. And I'm still winning on board with this. Oh. Okay. Yeah, sure. That works too. Hopefully my opponent concedes, considering I conceded when they had infinite turns. But I guess they don't have to. Feels kind of bad, though. I shouldn't have kept that card on top. There was no reason to do that. I mean, I'm going to get this done, no problem, but... Whatever, this is fine. Should probably have fetched. It was my fault for conceding the other game. It's fine. It'll take me like a minute tops, so. Here's Lurrus. Here's Saga. Lotus. Okay. They just wanted to see a threat and win, I guess. They wanted to make sure I had actual win cons in the deck. That's reasonable. I'm okay with that. Okay. All right. I mean, that was a good win. We had a pretty powerful hand. Opponent had a really powerful hand, too. They had turn 1 Tinker with Force backup. I feel like if I were my opponent, though, I would not have countered Ancestral. I would have put Tinker on the stack with Force backup and made my opponent have double Force. I mean, we would have had double Force, but is this a keepable hand? I think this is a keepable hand. Opponent mulled to 5. It's not a good hand by any means. Man. Game 1 is so weird. I don't even know what to think about game 1 because like all of the things that happened in that game didn't make sense to me. Just like all of the sequences. I didn't feel like we were even supposed to be in the game at all. And then all of a sudden we were in the game. And then I think like I just completely misjudged what my opponent was doing at every point. I'll have to go back and look at that game at some point and try to figure out why I was so off. It was really bad. I don't like it. This hand is not good, by the way. I don't know if I was supposed to keep this hand, but it felt reasonable enough. We're doing a powerful thing. I don't know if we'll have enough mana to, like, lethal Bilbo with Vamp. So, like, there's a lethal line with Bilbo and Vamp where you Vamp for DT, DT for Time Walk, and then DT for a key, and Vamp for a... Sorry, Vamp for a key, and then DT for a vault. I forget the exact sequence. I have to go back and find it. But it requires a bunch of mana. They did not play into Mindbreak Trap. Bilbo in play, tutor, time walk, and cast it. Bilbo back tutor, putting DT on top. Time walk turn DT for key. Bilbo back time walk. Time walk turn 2. Bilbo back DT, get vault. The problem is I kind of need a force now that they didn't play into Mindbreak Trap. So I'm in trouble. Yeah, I shouldn't have kept this hand. I had to mulligan this hand. This was not a good play. I should have just mulliganed my hand. I should just mulligan to a Force of Will hand, right? I guess if they play a Hexing Squelcher, then no, but... Oh, all right. Squelcher, maybe? All right, that's good. So I can Lorien for a land and then play a Bilbo. I can Vamp for a Lotus and play a Bilbo and get a land. I can Vamp for a Mana Vault and then use my Mana Vault to only play Bilbo. I don't think I like any of that. How much mana do I need to do the DT, the Vamp win line? If I tutor in my upkeep for Time Walk, I would need to have another land, right? So I don't have enough mana right now. Well, depends on what you think my opponent has. They might just have a negation here, hard cast. I don't really need a force anymore anyways. The only thing stock up is really granting me is additional mana possible. Where I could just Lorien for a land, get a free land drop, and play Bilbo. Lotus Bilbo stock up is extremely aggressive. But it's not bad because Bilbo stock up is pretty good. And so is Bilbo Lotus. I think all of these lines have merit. I have no idea which one is... I mean, I could also just get Opposition Agent to die. So... I'm not sure. I think all of these lines have merit. I think I'm going to go with Lotus, though. Go with the highest upside line. Everything resolves, huh? I think I just like Ruby, Needle. I feel like we have enough. I feel like we have enough action where I just want mana. I don't know what I'm needling though. The hell am I needling? I mean, it's just Time Vault, right? Could be Sensei's Top if there was a Sensei's Top in the list, maybe. I'm just trying to work. I'm worried if I... Oh, is this now getting countered? They don't know that this is non-mana sources. I see. I think they might just not be super comfortable. I think I don't want to name Time Vault if they're going to do that. Oh, no, they have a Hull Breacher. Okay. Well, I hope we don't get twisted. This trap has not been online. Squelcher comes in. That does make a lot of my extra action not very good. The Hull Breacher. Man. Hull Breacher blocking is a problem. I think I cast stock up and see if they block first. I can cast Bilbo with Lorien with Bilbo, but this looks good. I do need to win this game in time. I'm gonna cast Time Walk on this one. Well, I have Lurrus, Bilbo. So I'm still trying to get them to trade with the Hull Breacher. But I can also hold up Mindbreak Trap. Okay, perfect. Oh, I don't have enough mana. I messed up. Wait, I have at least a Lotus, I guess. No, I'm an idiot. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just casting spells at random. I'm trying to go faster here. It's not bad though, because we have a hard casts everything up, and I have lifelink, so I'm just trying to cast spells. But that was a misplay, obviously. I will get Vamp Time Vault over a couple turns here, but this Mindbreak Trap actually covers me from everything, so I'm just trying to play fast. I should have cracked my Bauble first before playing my Lotus, obviously. I guess this is probably still better to just cast first. I feel like stock ups are just like better than casting Vamp. Full Force of Will. Oh, I just tapped my Black Source. Fine, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm just gonna win with like creatures and counters now. So obviously this was not well played. I'm not very proud of this games, but yeah. We're gonna get there. Don't really. I've had a couple really messy games this set. This whole tournament actually. Play Lotus. Oh, I guess I can still play Vamp with the Lotus if I want. Yeah, I guess I'll just... I don't know, man. Is that even better? Like... Is Vamping even better than just stocking up? I don't know. Could Lorien... I feel like everything wins, and when everything wins, I get lost. Oh. They were holding a Flusterstorm for my Vamp or something? I will pay and then Mental Misstep one of these. I guess I should do that first, but this is easier. I have the Lotus still, but I don't really want to use the Lotus. I'll take Negation, and I'll take Mana Crypt. And thank you for Coleslaw. Sorry, thank you for the raid. Gotta finish this game. All right. We're almost there. We're almost at the finish line. 2 attacks. I made this game so much harder than it needed to be. I made this match so much harder than it needed to be. Oh, sure. I will make Lurrus unblockable and attack with these things. And I don't know. I will cast Vampiric Tutor, and I will get Time Vault, and then I will Lorien. No, I use my unblockable. I can use my chain. I can use my chain. Hold on. Chain back this. Cast Lorien. Cast Key. Cast Time Vault. Cast Untap. Time Vault. Time Vault. Go. Untap. Draw. Take an extra turn. Attack with my units. I guess I can cast Chain because I can force the payoff or whatever. Guess I'll pay. Bounce this. That's what I'm trying to do, man. What do you want from me? This is the fastest way. It's the shortest path. I'm the Sun Eater. Oh, I played so poorly. Okay, it's fine. We'll recoup and play the top 8 better. All right, welcome, vintage gamers, to the very first I am actually level 1 Bilbo top 8. So that's a sweet one. We're up against Dom Tudor over here, who has been doing pretty well recently with this interesting version of Raker that is not a workshop deck. This is an Eldrazi deck that is still playing a lot of the Raker Shops cards. So it's adding on to the Raker Shops combo with Patchwork Automatons, Waitscape Battle Mage, Sowing Mycospawn with Wastelands and Strip Mines. It's a very interesting take. It's pretty cool. I don't know if that's what they're playing today. We'll have to see. But I'm excited to find out. So let's play our top 8 match. On the play with a cat. Force, no action. Yeah, I mean, I think this is acceptable. Can't imagine mulliganing this in the blind. But this is certainly one of our lower power hands of the day. We've ran, I would say, fairly hot today. I don't know if chat agrees. But because I think the play has been hit or miss. I think some of the rounds I played really well, and some of the rounds I played complete mess. But we've had a lot of really good hands. We've cast a lot of early Lotus. But the deck has also been performing extremely well. So good deck design by me and Twitch chat. We put this together on Wednesday night after the stream. So all right, I'm going to go with my tap land. And yeah, I will keep an Ancestral Recall. Seems good to me. We'll have to see what our opponent's playing. Is it Eldrazi or is it something else? Okay, Mox Ruby. Is there caverns? I assume there's caverns, right? There are caverns. That's something to think about. There are 12 Eldrazi in the list, if there are Eldrazi coming. Could be a tough matchup, actually, if it is Raker Shops Eldrazi or Raker Eldrazi. It's a cool list. Okay, it is. Sweet. Thorn. Interesting. Thorn. There are no null rods in the 75. So the downside of letting this resolve is that if we were to buy Lurrus, we would be tapped out of Force. Another possible downside is if they play a Cavern of Souls later, the Force is dead. But also this card just does not seem to really interact with me right now. I think I'm just going to let this one go. Let's go pass. I could Ancestral and try to hit artifacts there. Maybe I should even do that. Maybe I should have done that. Are you just saying random card names in chat? What's happening? I'm so confused. There's the Cavern of Souls. So I have immediate regret on not countering the Thorn. Is this going to be a Sowing Myco spawn, or is it going to be... All right, I need to reread Sowing Myco spawn. Searching for a land. Put it on the battlefield, untapped. Okay. I assume strip mine. But there are workshops in this list. There are 2 workshops in this list. Wow, what a crazy one. So I guess this deck technically could be considered Raker Shops. Saga Gaming. All right, that makes sense. All right, well, let's see what Ancestral has to offer here. I don't want to fetch out my Underground Sea. It's kind of risky. But my Force and my Misstep, my Force is kind of dead at this point. Thorn is an interesting inclusion because it stops your Raker, Flesh Raker combo. Don't know if I like that very much. I guess we could tap out and stock up, but then we're not really making it. So we didn't hit any artifacts off of that. Though if I hadn't played my land and I had cast Ancestral, I would have been able to get a Saga. Then I just guess I would have gotten Wastelanded. I don't actually think this spot looks very good for me. I think I am supposed to just go get the Underground Sea, though, with my mana right now, and I'll just hold it in my hand for when I need it. I see. What is like my best way forward in this game? I could even, like, if I play my Saga, I might even get, like, Wastegate Battle Mage, which would be pretty bad for me. I don't think I'm going to get a Saga to live through a whole turn. Doesn't really seem likely. And if I play stock up, I will overdraw. Oh, wait, no, no, I won't. Yeah, I will. I don't think Oswald is enough either if they have a Wastegate Battle Mage. But Oswald is certainly, like, a way forward. I kind of wish I had, like, more artifact mana. I think that, like, Saga stock up is my, like, most powerful line in, like, a vacuum here. This does leave me shields down. Bilbo, Soul Ring, Yogwill. I don't know what's happening. Just go away. I don't know what that is. I think I just like taking 2 mana sources. I could take Yogwill. It's just, like, really hard to Yogwill through a Thorn. I think not countering Thorn has been not great. I think not countering Thorn has been quite bad for me. I think it was reasonable at the time, and I don't think it's like particularly prohibitive for us in general, but it has been it has resulted in being a very poor decision for me. There's a wasteland. Saga down. All right, no follow-up is good. That's a terrible draw. I want to play Jet. Play Ring. Play DT. I do think we haven't drawn amazing, but at least we have mana to work with here. Is it just Yogwill anyways? If I had drawn like a creature in my ancestral, like a Bilbo, like a Bilbo or an Oswald. If I had drawn an Oswald in my ancestral, then I could have like taken Time Walk here. But I don't have that. This is a really bad spot. Oswald is just like not going to get it done, but I think I might just be dead before that even matters. I kind of needed to play an Oswald on that turn. I could try Time Walk and try to spike card, maybe. I feel like Time Walk gives me the most possible things I can spike, right? Well, if I take Yogwill, I just like don't have enough mana, man. I just like this. Not countering Thorn lost us this game. If I had countered Thorn, this was a very, very easy win. So that's I don't know, a learning scenario here, maybe. I feel like everything I did turned out really poorly. Like my ancestral deck turned out really poorly. The stock up turned out. I just don't know. I don't know. I think I threw the game on turn 1, and that is the end all be all. Am I just supposed to be countering a Thorn with like nothing prohibitive happening? Is that really correct? It feels so bad, but I just like didn't know what I was like. I didn't know my game plan, right? But I mean, it was definitely the wrong choice. I guess I knew I had an ancestral coming, right? I just like didn't feel like that it was like very prohibitive either. This doesn't really do anything. How much mana do I have? 4, 8. Time Walk is 3. Buy Lurrus and play Lurrus is I'm short. But I get like a couple looks here and a couple different options, so I don't know. I felt like this gave me the most chances to spike. Like if I draw an Oswald here and I have Oswald Time Walk, I win, right? That's a Gaia's Cradle off the top. Is there just like no follow-ups though? Oswald. Oswald, I think, is my best draw. Bilbo is a good draw as well. I feel like I've drawn just the worst possible card at every moment in this game. I've just drawn all of the anti-blue cards. Okay. I mean, this might buy us some time. We'll see. Maybe my opponent has like Kozilek's Command or something. This game is brutal. This game has been so brutal. And I still don't feel like it's lost yet. I can chump with Lurrus, right? Chumping with Lurrus here saves me for a turn, and then I have a Bilbo, Demonic, and Time Walk. They have to find a new blocker. They must have something. They're doing a lot of thinking. Oh, I don't think I'm ever Karakasing here, CRK. Because I want the lifelink, right? Because I want to be able to attack with Bilbo. Like, I'm not actually surviving by, like, blocking and throwing back. So I think, like, what my play is I'm blocking with Lurrus, lifelinking to stay at 3 life, untapping with Bilbo, Demonic Time Walk, and hoping that's enough. Wasteland on the blue source. I don't know. I guess I'll float blue. Can I block the Myco spawn and live? I can, right? I'll go to 1. Is that better? It's very likely I won't even be able to make the my own Bilbo play because I'm gonna need to like play spells and they all cost 1 more because I'm bad at magic and didn't counter the stupid Thorn on turn 1 in this game. This game would be so easy if I had countered Thorn. Fine, can't take it back. The play was made. We would have won this game like by a huge landslide. All right, if everyone comes in, if I block Lurrus on Construct, I can still force a non-Eldrazi creature. If I block here, I go to 1, and then I can't Force of Will. I have to block with Lurrus regardless, because I need to attack with Bilbo. So I'm just trying to question, is trading with a Myco spawn... I think I just want to save as much life as possible. They must have a spell, right? Like... Thorn lets me cast through Bobble. That is correct. I mean, if it's K command, then we're covered, right? I'm so confused. If they have no creature, I have at least a Time Walk turn as well as a DT. I think they have an Eldrazi, which means I'll only have one attack with Bilbo. What is happening? Thanks for the raid, Spencer. Another Bilbo. Do I have anything deterministic from here? I don't, right? Like, I needed to draw an action spell. I have a DT, which costs me 2. And then a Yogwill costs 4. But then, so I could, but that just time walks. Doesn't even help me. I can just time walk to get another turn, but I didn't like make any progress this turn. I just haven't drawn anything that helps me, right? Well, I can always time walk, right? I can always start by timing walking, which will give me at least one more card. So I feel like I always just start by time walking. Okay, something is happening in the beginning of combat. Oh! Well, why didn't they just kill me last turn? I was dead on the last attack. All right, whatever, man. This game was rough. This game was super rough. If I actually draw in this other order, it actually is winning. Damn. All right, that game is on me though. Like I misevaluated Thorn. I misevaluated Thorn. Thorn killed me. All right, this is definitely a swords matchup. This doesn't actually look like that good of a portable hole matchup because they're not bringing in null rods, which is odd. They don't actually have like a large contingent of hate pieces for some reason. Actually not. I guess this is a Mindbreak Trap matchup. I don't even know if this is even a good bobble matchup on the play. Needles on Wasteland seem okay, but if they have a Caracas, oh, they have a Caracas. I definitely want my Needles. This seems like a tough matchup, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think this looks promising for us. I need to keep Misstep because of top combo. I'm going to keep at least one hole. I think this is actually not a negation matchup because they're not playing null rods or anything. They have Volt Key. It's very interesting. I just feel like we would have been such a good spot. It's fine. I didn't know what I was drawing. Didn't know what I was drawing, but I could have predicted, right? I was like just banking on. I was kind of like gambling on Cavern of Souls, right? That was the big thing where like if they don't have Cavern of Souls and I get to force a creature, I'm just so far ahead. But that's probably not a very reasonable thing to be gambling on. I'm still debating Bobble, but I'm kind of thinking I'm just not going to play Bobble, no. I don't think I need the Bobble. I don't know that I need a portable hole at all. But I feel like I should have the option in case something changed in their last list. I like the idea that gifts can like win the game, but it also just feels like clunky. I don't really like Vamp when my opponent's attacking my mana. That's kind of my general feeling. But I could be wrong there too. This hand looks so bad. All right, let's mulligan this. This, I mean, this isn't like that much better, but I think I am supposed to play around Mindbreak Trap here. So I'm gonna go for Tundra Bilbo. I don't have a thing to bounce back with Bilbo right now, which is problematic. But I don't know that I have a lot of choices. This is kind of the hand we were dealt. I think it's a good sign that all of our losses today, I feel, are pilot driven, where I could have made better choices. That's a good sign. I'm just gonna force this. Can't really be beating a Cavern Eldrazi from this spot. Maybe I should have kept in Vexing Bauble. I also don't know if I'm beating a Wasteland from this spot. But I couldn't fetch both an island and a plains, so... Because I wanted to be able to... I wanted to be able to... Swords if I drew swords. This does not look like a very good spot, so... We'll see what happens. I need both mana, blue mana, and spells to cast. Ancient Tomb. Nothing. Took a Crypt Flip. Plains. Plains is not the worst. It's certainly good if I find, like, swords. I do have 4 swords in my deck. DT is good. Swords is good. It's kind of the extent of the things that are good left in my deck right now. Damn. I've kind of gotten bullied. I cut the bauble, so. Taiga? Okay. What does that mean? Okay. New Bilbo is the worst draw, probably. Should I sacrifice my Lurrus? I think so. Considering I'm not really beating a Raker that makes any tokens here. I don't know, like maybe I was supposed to mulligan my hand, but I was already on 6, right? It did not take the bait. How badly does this go for us? Another Ancient Tomb. 4 mana. Oh, that's badly. That's so badly. think we're gonna need to draw Manifold Key to go unblockable. We might just be dead. I don't think Swords does it at this point. They have one card left. They're attacking. I'm just gonna die to Mana Crypt right here. Why'd they even consider blocking? In what world were we ever even considering blocking here? Yeah. I got bullied. I don't know. I got straight up bullied. Like I said, I think game one should have been a win. But I made a mistake on the force. But like they don't always have a cavern, you know? Damn. That's a kind of a sad way to end it, but this was not the most powerful hand, and I'm not really surprised we lost this game based on that hand. I'm more sad about the first game, in which I think I just made a misevaluation on the force. And that's kind of how I feel about our losses today. So we crushed Lord Beerus with our main deck Graveyard Hate. We beat Dredge again in round 2. Then we played the match versus Raker, where we had a close 3-game set, but I think the game we lost was definitely a choice that could have been fixed. You know, it wasn't a bad choice per se. Like it was good against certain draws and bad against certain draws, and it was bad against the one we faced. But I think you know, percentage wise, it could have been better. We had a great match versus Lurrus Breach stuff, where our deck looked incredible. Our deck looked very good against Shockwave Tinker as well. And then we had a messy set against Grixis Tinker, where I don't think it needed to be as messy as it was. I was kind of thrown off by a couple different lines and made some rough choices around the edges, but the deck still looked pretty good. And then, like I said, here we played against Eldrazi, a little bit off the beaten path deck. Obviously, no reps against Eldrazi, so made a judgment call on the Thorn of Amethyst on turn 1, and my opponent slammed a Cavern on the next turn and made me pay for it. So, I do think our hands here in the finals were a little bit worse than our hands in Swiss. I think in Swiss we ran pretty hot. It's very important to, when you play Vintage and when you play Magic in general, to recognize what level of the variance spectrum your hands are. And I think we had a lot of games with Lotuses, a lot of games with Mana Crypts. I think overall in the tournament we ran fairly hot, but I was also very impressed with what Bilbo did, what Gifts did, how the deck was constructed. I think it was a very well-rounded deck. So this is our deck from the tournament. I don't even know if I have a single change I want to make to the deck yet. I think you could argue that the Vamp should be in the main, but it's more of a metagame thing. If I think I'm getting, playing against Frog or anything like that, then the Vamp, it gets worse. If you play the Vamp in the main, you probably have to play 2 Underground Seas, in which case your Fiddlebender instant win combo gets worse. There's something to be said about putting a Skateboard in this deck to give your Fiddlebenders and Bilbos haste. I just really hate how bad the card Skateboard is in general, though. But if I was looking for another toolbox artifact, Skateboard is certainly one that I would consider, just because the fact that Bilbo and Oswald need a turn always, unless you have like exactly Time Walk, is pretty rough in Vintage. A turn is definitely the difference between winning and losing a lot of the time. I guess in like certain metagames, maybe you could get away with. Actually, I feel like you want the first swords in the main because you are a tutoring deck and you are a Bilbo flashback deck. I don't know. It's really tough. I will say the Gifts earned its keep in this event, though. The Gifts was very, very impressive. And I'm definitely still happy with the Lotus Petal. I mean, we obviously got super paid off for having Needle and Lantern in the main with our double Dredge matchup. Cam was good. Fluster, I'd like to even have more Flusters if possible. So it's really tough. The slots are pretty tight here. I think maybe the 4th Lorien revealed is a possible slot. Maybe you don't need 4 Bilbos. Those are the slots that are probably the most up for grabs. But it was a good event. You'll definitely be seeing more of this style deck on the channel. This is, like I said, right up my alley. Very similar to decks I've played at previous Eternal Weekends, and I really like the looking configuration so far. I don't know that Bilbo is like the most amazing card. It certainly seems like it's less good in Vintage than it is in Legacy. But I will say that certain combinations of Bilbo with Time Walk and DTs, even like and stock up, most certainly stock up, are extremely impressive and might, just be worth it to build towards them. So more vintage content on this YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you then.